Welcome to a very wintry Brands Hatch and welcome to round 4 of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. I'm Paul Woodford. You are tuned into live coverage here on Special Stage, and we will be live with you throughout the day here. 8 stages, and as you can see, it is kicking off with very, very slippery conditions indeed. Patrick O'Donovan, winner at Cadwell Park, young rallycross star who stormed to victory in the Lincolnshire Wolds, out on the stage as we speak, as is our defending champion John Griffiths. Emma Morrison alongside in that Fiesta R5, Jack Mawson alongside in the Hyundai. John Griffiths comes here leading the championship, doing exactly what he and Emma need to do to defend that title. After 2 second places and a 3rd place, 3 podiums, consistency key for them. Patrick O'Donovan is really flying in that Hyundai. He's taking out chicanes, switching that Hyundai and catching every bit of the chicane, using every bit of the tight, narrow stage. John Griffiths and Emma Morrison are very sideways in these slippery conditions as well. You can see the ice and frost being kicked up from the tyres on the cars. Such is the cold conditions we get to start today with. It's a fairly moderate icy blast to start the day as well. Just under 5 miles, stages 1 and 2. And they use the circuit here, bits of the infield, and they use the rally school stage at the far end of the Brands Hatch venue. If you've ever been here, you'll know what I'm talking about. So the stage starts on the rally stage. A really tight, loose and very icy start to this opening stage. Then they head out onto the circuit, and you see them come into view here at Graham Hill Bend. Iconic race circuit, not a race circuit unlike some others in the championship that is so synonymous with rallying, or that has hosted many high-profile rally stages in the history of the sport, but certainly one that has gathered momentum in this Circuit Rally Championship. Our championship sponsors, MGJ Engineering, have their name above the door here at the Brands Hatch Winter Stages. 10 years they've been sponsoring this event, organised by Chelmsford Motor Club. Phil Bramall, Jamie Ganley and Sam Leonard on the cameras today. Mason Woodford joining me on the camera, that we'll be having a walk around later, and then producer Wayne is in the studio. And a big thank you to Mike Lally, the circuit manager here at Brands Hatch, and Tom Aaron as well, in charge of media, who saw the hospitality studio today with a lovely view of the circuit. Michael Igo, who did hint that he would be in a Skoda for this round, is back in that Citroen C3 R5. Well, it's a Rally 2, I should say. So it looks like he's sticking with that for the time being, getting caught up actually on the stage there on his first run through on SS1. You can keep up to date with the live times if you go to the MGJ Engineering Winter Stages Facebook page. Patrick O'Donovan, Jack Morton's second time through at Paddock Hill Bend, going the wrong way, ended up on the gravel. And John Griffiths and Emma Morrison have had to do a 3-point turn in the tight hairpin in the pit lane, which is not exactly what they had in the plan for this morning. There'll be a bit of red mist in there. Emma will be talking John down as we speak. Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley in the Fiesta R5, I think that was, getting caught up behind them in that moment. Patrick O'Donovan chasing them down. So winner last time out, Michael Igo and Will Atkins, didn't finish the Brands Hatch Winter Stages last year in the Citroen C3 Rally 2, although they weren't in that car then, were they? They won last time out. They also won the opening round at Oulton Park, the Neil Howard Memorial Stages, but it was 11th place after a disappointing and fairly dramatic end to Cadwell Park's North Humberside Stages at round 2, with 2 punctures in that final stage, really drifting that wide-arched citroen around this stage, though, and really seeming to enjoy the conditions. Lots of cars on the stage. If you just don't normally watch circuit rallying, perhaps the last coverage you watched with us was the RAC or one of the BTRDA or Pro Tyre asphalt rounds. You'll be looking at a very different spectacle indeed. Splits and merges on a combination of roads and bits of gravel and infield and circuit tarmac here on these venues make up the mileage. Think of splits as junctions, think of merges as the back end of that, where the cars come onto an existing part of the stage, and it's the responsibility of the car joining the stage to give space and a bit of courtesy to the car already at competitive speed. Sean Quigley getting caught up behind Darrell Taylor in the pair of Rally 2 and R5 Fiestas coming through the pit lane here. It's a tight hairpin there, and it has caught people out in the past. 4 rounds into this championship then. It's fantastic to be back after our enforced winter break, thanks to the big man that comes around and delivers presents in the middle of all of that. We've seen different people showing us the pace and the form, haven't we, so far in these 3 rounds? But it is John Griffiths and Emma Morrison coming here, leading the championship. Michael Igoe, Will Atkins, although they've won 2 events. John Griffiths' best result being second, showing that consistency and a consistent pace is the way to go. I know there's bits of this you can see, bits you can't, but Anthony Newton, Christopher Newton, who swapped seats for this round and our leading Class C in the championship, just absolutely hooned that orange Vauxhall Nova around in the pit lane. Really spectacular to watch. Wayne Larbalestier, Archie Larbalestier alongside in the Mitsubishi Evo 3 RS. Beautiful car in its Works-esque livery, again nicely tucked in through that tight pit lane section. Anti-lag switched to the max. Joshua Davey, Tamsin Davey, 33rd overall in the championship, looking to get some points on the board and get some traction down in that Darien here today. It's going to be a dry day, but it is starting mighty slippery, so it's going to be tricky for the Darien, but it's not exactly not Darien weather, if you understand my meaning on that. But they'll be looking to get back on terms as far as the championship is concerned. They came out in that little Peugeot 107, didn't they, for the Neil Howard Memorial Stages. It's been a mixed bag to start the season for them. Martin Hodgson, Tony Jones, 12th in the championship. They came 8th overall. An impressive result with first in class here at the Brands Hatch Winter Stages last year in that blue Escort. 11. They had a rare, I'd say, DNF at the last round at Donington Park. 2 top 10 finishes before that, 9th and 7th respectively at Alton Park and Cadwell Park to start their 2024 campaign off. Rally cars everywhere here at Brands Hatch. If you're just tuned in, welcome to Special Stage and welcome to round 4 of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. It is the Brands Hatch Winter Stages, sponsored by MGJ Engineering, our championship sponsors. And you can just see the added jeopardy in these conditions if you're watching just at the Graham Hill Bend section there, the Darien of James Garner. In fact, the championship winning Darien from 2019, just getting some main big attention from that little Renault Clio behind. The Hutchinsons getting caught up on the slower sections. Alistair Hutchinson, St John Dykes in the Clio Maxi, as they call it, with its wide arches, getting caught up by that Darien in the tighter sections and having to stamp on the horn and get the main beam on, but not managing to get past. You can just see how slippery it was as those cars just squirmed about trying to get the traction down. Rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive in icy conditions, although you can see the dry line starting to open up now, and you can see that that ice is no longer being kicked up by most of the cars unless they go offline. Interesting entry from Ashley Davies, Sam Fordham, 2017 Silver Star champions in the Fiesta Super 1600. Brilliant looking car, isn't it? They did 3 events in 2023 and retired in all of them, 2 of them in that Fiesta, one of them in the trusty Escort that Ashley and Sam won the Silver Star Championship in the BTRDA in. Maybe looking for some points on the board here. Is Ashley's local event. Ashley works on the London Underground. Does Ashley? A real pair of characters in that car. Looking forward to hopefully catching up with those when we do a bit of a walk around later. James Slaughter, Josh Slaughter alongside in that Escort, came 24th in Class C on last year's event. Not registered for the championship, but you know, anyone who brings a Cossack Escort, if I can get my words out, my mouth is still very cold having had a walk around here at Brands Hatch. Anyone who brings a Cossack liveried Mark II Escort out to play deserves a mention, don't they? Glorious looking car, and being driven nice and neat and tidy, but he was a little bit sideways on the first run round in this first stage. Just under 5 miles then this first stage, starting on the old rally school part of the venue here at Brands Hatch before joining the circuit and using the circuit tarmac before heading out to the back of the venue for the stop line. A year ago then, Michael Igoe, that you saw in that C3 Rally 2 Citroen, was seeded at car 39, and it was his debut in circuit rallying, making his transition from circuit racing in British GT in the Lamborghini. And here he is at car 3, making the change rapidly, taking that victory at Donington Park less than 2 months after his debut. Donington, a stage, shall we say, a venue that really suits Michael Igoe, and he made sure that was plainly obvious at the last round as well, taking victory there and setting his championship campaign alight. Top 10 here then is packed full of the current generation and recent generation turbocharged four-wheel drive cars. Ollie O'Donovan, Ashley Morris, and car 4 is the sister car to the Hyundai i20 that you saw Patrick O'Donovan in. In fact, Patrick's car is the R5 that was driven to victory on Rally Barbados last year by Hayden Padden, believe it or not. Bit of history in that car, and a car that has already won in this championship as well at the second round, and that is not what you want to see. I'm not sure where exactly that happened. You might have caught it on the live stream. I'm not looking at the same camera feed as you, but George Sherman and Neil Coleman in that Ford Fiesta R5 have got a bonnet obscuring their view. It's flown up onto the windscreen, one of the most terrifying things that can happen in a rally car, making their way down the pit lane. And goodness me, will they be wishing it was a race and they could stop and let the pit crew sort that bonnet out. But it looks like the shape of the Fiesta bonnet and the fact that they sit so low has meant that they can actually continue. Just looking underneath the bonnet on the Fiesta, we'll try and get you a view of that when they come round for the second run through this stage. Sam Gendy, Sam Bartlett in the Evo 9 was 6th in Class C last year here. 15th at Donington Park, which puts them in the 30s. 36th, I think they are, in the championship standings with no starts for rounds 1 and 2. Are they going to get their championship campaign on track here and show us a signal of their intent? We'll see. Michael Bowl, Izzy Lawrence in the Renault Clio, stalling it on the hairpin in the pit lane, catching a few people out that 16th place last time out. They were just behind Sam Gendy, in fact, in that little Renault Clio of theirs. 22nd in the championship as things stand. If you're just tuned in, welcome to this live coverage of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. You can see that bonnet is still up on the Fiesta. Neil Cole will be doing his best to guide his driver around this stage, but not an easy job. Neil, you may recognise from our coverage of the Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. Normally sits alongside Brad Cole and the hard-charging Mark Escort. Rumours of an R5 still abound there. Maybe see if we can tease something out of Neil later, but you've seen him in many different cars on our coverage. The Lotus has joined us again, as you see as well. Joseph and Daniel Duffy. They came second in Class C here last year, and with a top 10 finish last time out at Donington, and a 14th place to start the year, they come here 15th in the overall championship leaderboard. And I'll tell you what, that is a car, isn't it? What a sight that is, that beautiful Imtech rear-wheel drive. Looks like a Puma Super 1600, but you can tell from the track and the size of the wheels that is no normal Puma kit car. Of Gordon winning, Erica winning alongside, coming down from north of the border all the way from Scotland to join us here at Brands Hatch, and we're pleased they have, because there's something about a Puma kit car, isn't there? Look at it with this giant Evo style spoiler on the rear boot lid. Just see how slippery it is through there, can't you? Graham Hill Bend, Gary Mason, John Matthews joining us back here in the Circuit Rally Championship, former stalwarts of this series and faces that we'd recognise on these events back on their local event. They were second in Class C on the Brands Hatch winter stages last year, but just tiptoeing that Mark II Escort around the stage here. They're on the stage who we'll try and catch up with later. We'll get a few reactions and chats with some of our crews, but Vince Sillett, you may remember, did the championship. Last time he did the full championship, I think, was in 2017. In 2022, he last finished this event. He was DNF last year, but look out for that blue and white Mark II Escort. Vince Sillett is a character. Anyone who used to go to the two-day Rockingham round of this championship, last time that was run was 2017, will remember Vince Sillett with all his Christmas decorations and Christmas songs in the service area. Real character. Oh, that's really disappointing for the Sherritts, having made their mark on the event programme here at Brands Hatch. You know, that little 106. They're going no further here today. And it looked like they were pulling up to retire. I'm just trying to get my head around what that little 106 is doing. Brian and Freddie Sherritt, who were third in Class C here last year, so do go well here at Brands Hatch. They've pulled up to the access gate at the bottom of the pit lane. I'm not sure. It does look like that in early retirement, doesn't it? They'll be bitterly disappointed. They were most excited to have been featured on the event programme in that really good-looking little Peugeot Cup car. Some nice variety for you throughout the entry here today, as you've come to know from this MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. In fact, you know, wide-arched Peugeot 205 GTIs through to Ferrari 308s, I kid you not. There's Jamie McBain, Callum Young in their 205 just coming through your camera before I start talking there. Second time we've seen them this season in this Winter Rally Championship. The first time was at Cadwell Park, bit of a different venue. Here at Brands, of course. They were 15th overall at Cadwell. One round of 3 so far is a sign of how quickly you can move your way through championship ranks in this series, because it is so close, and the class scores effectively mean a handicap system, meaning you don't have to be in the top class to win this championship, and we have seen that in the past, haven't we? Remember when Ashley Field won in his Darien? And he's not the only Darien to have won this championship. The first winner of this championship was James Sharrock in a Mark II Escort. The Sherritts are moving again, so that Peugeot 106 will come into your view any minute now, and it's back on the move very, very slowly, but that's good news for them. They'll get it back to service, and hopefully it's something they can try and fix. They're just running off line at the minute, taking inside line around Graham Hill Bend. That slippery rally school section of the stage, though, doesn't look like it's really thawing out that much, does it? I do love that Subaru GC8 of Stephen Johansson. Chris Cooper looks great in that colour scheme, doesn't it? That indigo colour scheme. They didn't finish this event last year. They'll be looking for a finish. They've had a bit of a rough start to the year, actually, this championship, because it was a DNM at Alton Park at the first round, and they came 19th, just inside the top 20 overall at Cadwell. Didn't make the start of Donington, and that leaves them 38th in the championship behind Jamie McBain in that 205, the black and green 205 that you've seen today. But Stephen Johansson, another of our former well-heeled racing drivers out in this championship, and we've spoken about this quite a few times, that while in some respects that does give you a bit of an advantage, you know, the fundamental parts of handling a car on these types of venues is always going to be an advantage, but it's and Jeremy McBain just getting all crossed up and stopping in the pit lane there. Managing to get that 205 going again, I'm pleased to say. But yeah, so, you know, we've seen examples as well of it not being the best grounding, because you've got, you know, fully fledged rally drivers out here as well, and some of these stages and parts of them are tight. They require a certain finesse that racing drivers are perhaps not used to, having gone flat out around these venues, but there are parts of the stages that mirror the race circuit, and you know, those bits clearly an advantage. Michael Igoe has shown us that in the last season or so, hasn't he? The oldest car on the entry is a 1969, I think Joe's car, yeah, it's 1969 Mark I Escort Mexico. It's the one with the Corbeau livery that you've just seen, and it is beautiful. We're going to try and catch up with Vince Bristow and Tim Sayer later. They're based in the service area just down from where we're based here in the Brabham building. So looking again at the variety we've got for you today, TR7 V8, oh yes. An X-Works Vauxhall Forenza Magnum, oh yes indeed. Mark II Golfs, a Ferrari 308, that Puma that you've seen from so far. A few Austin, well, the original ones, which is always good to see. And we saw it, didn't we, last time up? I do like that grey, really well prepared Nissan Micra of Oliver and Simon Howard. Second place they came here in Class C, top 20 overall position, I believe, wasn't it? In 2023 here at Brands Hatch. There is Bristow in the Corbeau sponsored Mark I Mexico. Bit of oil smoke from that little cross flow. We can forgive it, that, can't we? She's an old lady. Actually, I shouldn't say that, should I, at 50-something? I'd be in trouble if I was saying things like that, Woodford. Mick Johnson and Peter Pears, as producer Wayne shuffles uncomfortably at my last faux pas, in that really smart-looking Mark II. Chelmsford Motor Club members, local crew. Last time Chelmsford Motor Club were in action was the Preston Road Rally of Midland, which I intended to get to next year, or this year. That was just before Christmas, and it went really well. We'll maybe catch up with a few of the runners and riders. Matt Endine actually came 6th overall. He's running safety car duties here at Brands Hatch, so we will try and catch up with him and give a flavour of what Chelmsford Motor Club are all about as well during the live coverage today. George Sheard, Harriet Worth are out in there. Yellow Ford Puma that you've seen, that's a really well prepared kit car. If you are here at Brands Hatch, or you plan to join us at one of the events in the championship this season, do have a look close up at some of these cars, because the level of preparation across rallying in general, and that's driven partly by, you know, more stringent regulations in the last 10 to 15 years by Motorsport UK. It's not by accident, but it's also something which is filtered down to club rallying, and at this level in the circuit championship we really do see some incredible preparation going into these cars, and they are really to behold. As is that Vauxhall Magnum, that X-Works. I believe it's a Jimmy McRae car, that, isn't it? It's the one that does a lot of the rally demos, and here it is out in competition. Look at it, hounding that Clio. Do you know what? I was stuck behind that Clio in the hotel car park this morning. I know how that Vauxhall Magnum feels. Look at that, listen to it. What an amazing sounding and looking car to see out here. 2.3 litre DTV engine. Bouncing off the rev limiter. Brian Watts, Mike Hewson, bringing that car out to entertainers, and entertainers it is, isn't it? How good seeing X-Works cars out rallying rather than sitting in private collections. Like that a lot. Tom Clark, Danny Poole with the pair in the Clio. I was only joking, guys, about being held up in a hotel car park. You were very courteous. I hope you will say just as much after this stage. Mike Webb, Steve Noble in the Fiesta ST150 took a top 20. Quite an impressive position given the competition last year here at Brands Hatch. They'll be looking for another strong result today. Perfect little car for blatting around these varied, slippery, tight in places and pretty fast stages. And there is the Sunbeam that I mentioned. Got a real thing for sunbeams, but then you knew that, didn't you? If you've been watching the Great British Car Share on the Great British Car Journey with myself and Sarah Crabtree, you'll know that. Lotus Sunbeams are something I've got a lot of time for. You just saw in the rally stage, the first part of this 5-mile opening blast here on SS1. Philip Chislett, Samantha Chislett alongside, who came 9th in Class C in their Lotus Sunbeam, tiptoeing their way. And I say that without any hint of judgment. It really is slippery out there, just tiptoeing their way around to get a feel for things. You don't want to bend it at all, but you definitely don't want to bend it on the first stage. Someone who isn't tiptoeing, though, is Charles de Garston. Matt Weeks alongside. They were 9th place in Class C. Class C, the up to 2 litre class, really the class with all the drama and so much competition on this event. It's growing all the time. There's Paul Garraway, Benjamin Garraway with their Talbot Sunbeam. It's a 1.6 Ti, not the Lotus. Another glorious-looking, historic rally car. For me, these events are a chance, really, apart from anything else, to nerd out over real varied and striking entry lists, packed, interesting and incredible-looking and sounding cars. They're just a great day out, and I hope you get a feel for that at home. Clark and Paul then getting the Clio stopped in the pit. The Armco on the outside when they're trying to get it back into gear. Those little mishaps when you're inside a rally car and you're frustrated, you've stalled the car, you're trying to get it started, and the last thing you're thinking about is putting your foot on the brake while you're trying to get the clutch down and get it started and back into gear. And then when you sort of roll back and thump some Armco, it's just an unnecessary mishap, and something that as a driver you chastise yourself for. I've done it myself, and it's a learning curve, isn't it, for these drivers? Anyone who's done this kind of sport will know that there's so much going on in that car, and these stages are so short and sharp, and you've got so much to concentrate on, and not least making sure you get the splits and merges right, so that when you do get it wrong, it all comes to a stop, or suddenly all the kind of fire and frenzy kind of stops inside the car, and the co-driver just sort of winces nervously as the driver sort of mutters things and turns the air blue while he's trying to get it started again. That's experience. David Large, David Ottaway going well, it looks like, on this first stage in their Mark II. They were 19th in Class C on this event this time last year. They come here 28th in the championship so far. A couple of decent finishes for them. Regulars in the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. A couple of MGZRs out here today. John Bray, Gary White just coming into view as we speak, and a man who needs no introduction in circuit rallying terms. He's running a couple of cars here today as well, including his own, Paul Sheard, and also Xavier Brooks in that Paul Sheard Motorsport car 77 that you've just seen on your screens. Citroen C2 of Philip Smith, Robert Smith, 9th in that hotly contested Class C last year. Just adding a bit more variety, having driven a C2 VTS road car back in the day. I'm all about seeing C2 rally cars out and about. You know how I feel about C2 R2s, of course. Ian Broadfoot and David Rowley have brought out their Ford Escort. It looks at first glance like it might be an Escort Cosworth. It's not. I believe it's an RS2000. I could be wrong, though. It's got the WRC spoiler on. It's a great looking car. It sounds amazing as well. Just going to try and bring the live results up, but not. I've got to admit, not doing very well at that as we speak at the minute. I wonder if someone can help me here in the studio. Get some live results up so we can get some stage times and give you a view of what's going on. Because at the end of the day, this is the fourth round of a very tight, very competitive championship, the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship, and there is a title fight on the cards coming into this fourth round before we head to Snetterton next up, from one MSV venue to another, from just north of London to the heart of the country over in Norfolk. Very different event in character again, and one that, again, a bit like Brands Hatch, has a lot of local crews and a fair few specialist crews who have knowledge of the venue, knowledge of doing rallies there. If you're doing better than me at live results, then well done to you. You go to the Circuit Rally Championship Facebook page, I believe. That's where you can find a link to the results. Right, here we go. So a man who we haven't spoken about too much today so far, who had a clean opening stage, Ted Robertson, Paul Spooner, and fantastic opening stage. We had a bit of a joke with them, didn't we, at Alton Park, if you remember the coverage there, that they struggled to hook things up, to use racing driver terminology, early on. And they came through the field later on in the day, but they've managed to really hook it up today. As you see Duncan Christmas, Laura Christmas on the stage in their Austin Mini. It's a 1974, 1275. Probably, I think that started as a Mini Clubman GT, I could be wrong. Beautiful looking Mini though. So at the moment, Michael Igo and Will Atkins are leading, coming here second in the championship. 2 wins to their name. Winners last time out at Donington Park, brimming with confidence inside that C3 Citroën Rally 2 car. They're just 3 seconds ahead of the young rallycross star who impressed us so much at Cadwell Park. As you see Xavier Brook off the stage, just getting the car onto the grass, and just, or is that a purposeful pull over onto the grass? I think it might be that MX-5 just trundling along and pulling up next to the tyre wall. Yeah, game over for the second of the Paul Sheard MX-5s. So back to the leaderboard. Patrick O'Donovan, Jack Morton, 3 seconds behind after this opening stage. Never been here, I don't think, certainly not here in a rally, and it's a long time since Rallycross came here. And that is what Patrick would call his day job, his bread and butter. Spooner in 3rd place, a further 4 seconds back, but on an equal time. Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley, they did look like they were going well, didn't they? They got caught up behind Michael Igo, in fact, at one point, just how hard they were pushing. A real signal of intent, finding somebody in your mirrors so early on in the rally, literally in your mirrors. And I tell you what, we're only 4 seconds back to Joshua Davey, Tamsin Davey. I mentioned Darian and said it wasn't not Darian weather was the best way of putting it this morning, because it wasn't exactly perfect in a high-power, lightweight rear-wheel drive car with all the ice on the stage. But oh, I tell you what, that is a very, very sideways Mark II Golf. I think you would have seen that on the coverage. I think that's exactly where Phil Bramhill is, which is perfect. But Dominic Norman and Vlad Ardalinu will be, I hope they'll be high-fiving at the end of the stage and enjoying that moment, because they went ever so sideways, didn't they, around that part of the circuit, just as they come around Graham Hill Bend. So just at the top, you see the Mini coming the wrong way around Graham Hill Bend as we speak now. The Christmas Mini, we'll call it. And just coming into Druid, you can see that the circuit part of the stage is really starting to, I wouldn't say dry up, because it's still very cold down there, but certainly the frost has gone, hasn't it, on the line that the cars are taking through the stage. So there wasn't much to speak of in the end. It looked very Christmassy though. Just looking at the, as you are as well, or you were, at the Mazda MX-5 Xavier Brook, it looks like a puncture actually. And you can't run on a puncture. It's not like the old Tommy Mackinnon and Marcus Gronholm. Oh, I can drive like this, officer, days of the RAC rally. The circuits rightly are very precious about their tarmac, and they don't want tram lines digging in them from wheel rims with punctured tyres. So puncture for that MX-5, meaning that it'll be a stage maximum, but that's better than being disqualified for driving on a puncture. And it does mean they'll be back out to fight later in the event. Now, I may have missed it because I'm not on every camera location, but I don't think we've had the Ferrari through, have we? One to investigate when we get back out there and have a look around the service area on the live stream later on in the day. It may be that it dropped off the entry list post me printing it off. Just coming towards the end of this first stage, we'll be doing exactly the same again, but our crews know what to expect, and they know that it's not going to be quite as slippery this second time around. So we'll go for a short break, and we'll be back for more stage action in just a few minutes' time. Don't go away. Grab yourself a drink and get straight back here for more live coverage from round 4 of the MGJ Engineering.
from the corner all the way down and then to the back.
Sorry? We're going to be right in your road.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
There's been a certain amount of running about going on. You nip down and put that cone back.
Yeah.
All the way down there, and then one of those guys down there suddenly noticed it and just test on.
Right then, here we go, stage 2 of the MGJ Engineering Brands Hatch winter stages, and by God is it wintry. We are here at round 4 and it is minus something degrees here at Brands Hatch, and we saw just how slippery it was at the start of the day out there on the particularly on the circuit parts of the stage, but also on that tricky opening rally school section as well. It was mighty slippery. It'll be a little less so this time around, having got rid of that top layer of frost from the stage. I'm not going to be in the studio for this part of the live coverage, so forgive me, I will not see what's on the screen. You will be our eyes in this coverage. I will be on the stop line, and we'll get some reaction from our crews through this second stage as Vince Bristow makes his way out in the oldest car on the entry, that Colbo liveried Mark 1 Escort Mexico, trundling past me, the smell of hot brakes and oil from a historic rally car, warming me up ever so slightly, not quite enough, I have to say. I'm going to swap with producer Wayne after this one. He's going to present the next live stream, and I'm going to sit in the studio. He'll be twitching uncomfortably now at such a mention. Michael Ike with it and not go for a Skoda after winning last time out at Donington Park so emphatically in the Williams Auctions car. They lead the way. 3 seconds ahead of Patrick O'Donovan and Jack Morton, but it has to be said, Patrick had a bit of a messy first stage. He was on the gravel, didn't quite hook it up in some of the tighter sections of the stage, so without that, could we fairly confidently say that Patrick O'Donovan would be leading the way? Who knows? At the moment, Michael Igoe, Will Atkins have a very slender margin out front. Tony Robinson, Paul Spooner having a cracking start to the day, just 4 seconds behind. And on an equal time to them, Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley alongside in the Fiesta. Joshua Davey, Tamsin Davey, though, does that have to be drive of the morning so far? I think so. 5th overall in such slippery conditions in that Darien T90 GTR. It's like a cruise missile, but cruise missiles are not so good on the ice. John Griffiths, Emma Morrison, defending champions, had a bit of a messy first stage themselves. Back in 6th place at the moment. 7th is Richard Weaver, Dylan Thomas. It's all very tight though, inside the top 10 overall at the moment. 8th place, Sam and Jack Cox. 9th is the second Hyundai of Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris. And in 10th, it's Richard Weatherly and Sean Leyland. Just outside the top 10 at the moment, the hard-charging Class D car of... Class C car, sorry, of Martin Hodgson, Tony Jones, who started the first of our two-wheel drive cars and are used to being there as the first of the two-wheel drive cars at the end of the first stage, but they've had a wake-up call in the shape of that white Darien T90 GTR of Joshua and Tamsin Davey as the amazing-looking X-Works that are attracted to these entries. John Griffiths, Emma Morrison chasing down on the Indy circuit part of this Brands Hatch rally stage. That Quigley Fiesta up in front. Just waiting for the first of our cars into the finish here. And we will get some reaction from our crews. We'll get to some of the class results later in the live coverage as well. Cold fingers will prevent me from doing too much on the live results through this first outside stage, shall we call it. It's nice and warm in the studio for the first run through. Good to have so many of you joining us on the live stream, by the way. It's our first live coverage of the year, and we're once again new technology, which has been somewhat enforced upon us. Long story, that one, but we are getting our heads around a new studio and production setup again. But I'm pleased to say it all seems to be going swimmingly so far. Hello to Marty Booth, watching from the Isle of Man. Ashley Curtis, watching from near where I live in Hessel. Gitz Gitonga, enjoying the live coverage. Henk Doutsenberg, watching from Belgium. Here at this Chelmsford Motor Club event at Brands Hatch. Antonio Giovinazzo, ciao, morning. Hello to David Bramall. Phil's dad just sold his historic rally Saab 96, which we're all very disappointed about. But I'm going to look at something else. I did hear Phil mention that there's a very nice Skoda Estelle project knocking about, and David has a hole in his garage at the moment. Used to be Saab shaped, will it be Skoda shaped? I'm just looking down at the lineup of cars down Colin Chapman Way here at Brands Hatch. It's a really fantastic way to start the season here, and these circuits are busier than ever. Post-COVID, the ramp up was rapid, and it's going to be a really packed season of action here in Kent. So if you are coming down to Brands during the year, check out their website for what they've got on. British Superbikes, British GT, British touring cars, Euro NASCAR, British Motorsport event of the year. If you want to visit a motorsport event with tons of content for the family, as well as thunderous action on track, it has to be Euro NASCAR. The American Speedfest here at Brands Hatch. Awesome event. Definitely add it to your must-do. Just a couple of minutes away, you're watching the action on circuit or on the stage. We are stood at the stop line, ready to welcome our first crews through here and get some reaction after this second stage of the day. So this first stage, to remind you, it's a 4.9 mile blast, taking in at the start the rally school section of the circuit, and then onto the circuit parts of the venue here at Brands Hatch, and using some of the paddock and infield as well that you'll recognise from various events if you've been here to Brands for other events during the year. Stage 3 and 4, similar mileage to the first stage. 4.7, just dropping a tiny bit, and not a huge amount of change either at the first part of the stage. The changes come later in the... Don't forget, you can follow the live results as they come through, and they'll be thick and fast in just a few minutes' time as our cars come through into the finish here. Rallies.info is where you need to be for that, and for all the updates and the photos and various bits of content from the event, you need to head to the Circuit Rally Championship Facebook page. MGJ, Engineering Circuit Rally Championship is what you type in. You can catch up with this and further events in the championship if you're planning on joining us around. Snetterton up next, Donington Park, maybe Cadwell Park or Anglesey even. Look forward to seeing you there, though. We will have live coverage from each round of this, what has become quite certainly a growing profile Winter Rally Championship. Who will be our champion this year, though? John Griffiths, Emma Morrison, after a fairly rapid rise to prominence here on these circuit rallies, took the championship last time out. That Fiesta R5, the orange Fiesta, suiting them down to the ground. John surely wondering why he didn't make the switch sooner, having gone from a B11 Subaru effectively to that Peugeot 208 T16 that we see Kyron Hankin driving in certain rounds of the championship now. But that Fiesta R5, the move that John Griffiths and Aaron Morrison credit their championship success with. Here we go then, through the flying finish and just trundling down to the stop line here. Headlights ablaze. Have we got times? You can refresh like I am. Tell you what we have. Michael Igoe, Will Atkins have maintained and in fact grown their lead at the front of this event. Patrick O'Donovan, Jack Morton behind them. 17 seconds it looks like the gap is, so Igoe on an absolute charge, because the gap between second and third, Patrick O'Donovan, Jack Morton, and then John Griffiths and Aaron Morrison that we're going to hear from first here on the stop line. Only 5 seconds. Tony Robinson, Paul Spooner in fourth place, then it's Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley in fifth. We have lost that Darian Good Davey, Tamsin Davey. Oh, actually, they haven't put time in yet, to be fair. First two-wheel drive car at the moment is Martin Hodgson, Tony Jones, just how they like it, but that is, of course, because we haven't had many times to just yet. So Michael Igoe, Will Atkins maintain their advantage, in fact growing it to 17 seconds out from Patrick O'Donovan, Jack Morton hanging in there, but here we'll get some thoughts from our third place competitors and our reigning champions, current championship leaders. Bit of a scrappy start for you, John, out there on the first stage. It looks slippery.
Yeah, I think the first car wasn't to an advantage this time. It was so greasy and, well, icy. But second time, yeah, a lot more grip, but I think we still made the wrong choice. Igoe made the right choice. He went super softs.
Is that the reason for that big gap out front?
Yeah, absolutely. We're on wets. I thought it was brave of him to go super softs, but good choice.
There we go. A good choice. John Griffiths impressed with Michael Igoe's tyre choice, crediting that as the reason for having that big gap out front. Bit of arranging with the marshals at the stoplight. I promise that we won't hold them up. We'll keep their flow of cars coming through this stop line. Patrick O'Donovan, Jack Morton, reigning Pro Tyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally champion co-driver in the co-driver seat of this Hyundai i20. The car that Hayden Padden, WRC star, won Rally Barbados in last year. Into the stop line, 17 seconds behind Igoe with that impressive tyre choice, going on super softs. John Griffiths said was brave and has given him a real advantage, but this man who took the victory at Cadwell is on a charge. You went on the gravel on stage one. Did you forget the sport you were doing, the discipline?
Yeah, I thought, I'd bring Rallycross back to Brands Hatch single-handedly, but just the first time up there I broke too early, and we were like, oh, we'll brake a little bit later there, and we kind of found the limit going into it. It was a little bit too late. The compression kind of, as you come up, obviously it sends the car back up, so that mixed with the low grip was just a bit too much. But no, that time there we lost a bit of time. I think we were out on the wrong tyre. We left it on the kind of icy wet tyre. We should have gone onto a slick there, but our own mistake. We'll try and make it back.
There we go. There's fire inside that car, and again, tyre choice being credited for just dropping a bit of time there for Patrick O'Donovan. Everybody is ruining your tyre choice out there today.
What did you say then, sorry?
Everyone's really impressed with your tyre choice.
Yeah, no, we started on the super softs and it seemed to be a good choice, but I think it's very easy to overdrive out there. You just got to let the grip come to you. But yeah, it seems to be going okay so far.
It's going okay so far, he says. 17 seconds the lead for Michael Igoe, and it's going okay so far. We lost Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris there, who trundled through into the service area. So next up, Tony Robinson, Paul Spooner. Getting further down so that we can... You guys are flying out there today.
Oh, well, it's pretty interesting. The first stage was very great fun, and now it's going to be continuously changing conditions, so we'll just see how we adapt, really.
Brilliant. So, quietly spoken. Quietly spoken. It's fine. Richard, you guys are going well out there today.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, very slippery, of course, first thing, but the grip's really right there now. So, yeah, it's looks like it's going to be quite confidence-inspiring from here.
Yeah?
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah, I reckon the grip's in now. So.
Tyres are you on?
We're only on old D-Max.
You're on wet.
Yeah. D-Mac wet. So cheap as chips, but they seem to grip all right.
Brave tyre choice up next.
Might go on super softs, I reckon, because the compound's the same on the wets as it is on the super softs. So I think probably we'll move on from here. Yeah.
Good luck. Confidence inspiring. Weaver calls it. Sean, you guys are going well out there.
It's going well, yeah. We're very pleased with progress this morning. Obviously, it's slippery, but we enjoy that, so it's good.
You know you're going well when you get caught up behind the rally leader.
Well, yeah, we're trying our best. We're trying our best.
But it's good. The Irish lilt. Full of confidence, as you heard. Martin Hodgson, when I last looked at the times, was the first two-wheel drive car on the leaderboard so far, but I think you've got a battle with that Darien now, haven't you?
Oh, he's quick. He's quick as that Darien. But
did you expect that, looking at that ice out there?
yeah, it's just fun, isn't it? It's just fun, mate. You can't. There's a smile from ear to ear all the time. It's good fun, but there's no grip.
It's good fun, there's a smile from ear to ear, but there's no grip. Wayne, you guys are having some fun out there.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a learning curve, new gearbox, hard work, and yeah, just enjoy myself and see how I get on.
Some would say the ideal car for these conditions, certainly through the first stage.
Well, it's debatable.
Anti-lag turned up to the max.
Might have been.
There we go, might have been. Wayne Lavalestia. And here is that Darien that really, I think he's going to have to open the door for me, is more like a cruise missile out here in these wintry conditions. You could have watched it before coming out.
Well, yeah, we didn't have time, to be honest.
It's slippery out there, but you guys are just cruising round.
Yeah, the first one was right. We were on the wrong tyres for that last one there, so we probably lost a little bit. But no, it seems to be going all right. It's running, so that's the main thing.
As I glance at my times, have you seen the time?
Yeah, I think so. Not good enough.
There we go. Joshua Tamsin-Davy, who went so well through that first stage, haven't had time to wash the car, such was the frantic race to get the car prepared, ready. Do you know what? They're behind Richard Weaver and Dylan Thomas, ahead of Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris. Further forward to let the circuit van through. James, it is slippery out there, but these Darians seem to go well, this regardless of what it's like.
Yeah, the first stage was terrible, but that stage was quite good. We had plenty of grip and we went well.
You've got to get on terms with that white one up ahead now.
Pardon?
You've got to get on terms with that white one up ahead.
Different story. He's very quick. Yeah, he is, yeah.
Happy enough though?
Yeah, very enjoyable. Great day.
James Garner in the 2019 championship winning car. Enjoying himself. As were these two, Chris and Anthony Newton, who chucking this Nova around. I think style points in the pit lane, especially through that first stage.
Yeah, we do try. I mean, we got new brakes on the front, so we're hoping to try and get a bit more performance. There's not much left. I mean, yeah, we just try and do what we can do. And my brother normally does the championship, and I'm normally the navigator. So let's see what we can do today. So let's see what we can do.
Is he enjoying himself?
Yeah,
it's good fun. Yeah.
Not too many nervous times.
Two brothers, Chris and Anthony Newton, swapping seats for this round, and he's throwing that Nova around, getting his own back, perhaps. Sam, you happy enough?
Yeah, not bad. First stage was good. Suits the sort of car, but that stage you messed up a hairpin, so probably lost 5 or 10 seconds, but pretty happy so far.
just out for a play.
Tricky when you're at a clicky box and you miss a hairpin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult trying to get into reverse. We end up rushing it, so not too bad. It's all good.
We said this on the coverage this morning. It all goes quiet in the car, doesn't it? The co-driver just sits there quietly and gets very nervous.
Yeah, he kept trying to tell me to calm down, but it was all good. We're having fun.
Told you, when that happens, you got to calm down. Go to rallies.info. You can follow as they drop in, and you'll have a bit more of a view of what's going on. You guys are flying out there. Look good fun. Although there was a bit where you couldn't quite catch that Darien through the first stage, all twitching on that ice.
No, we were on the first stage. We could only rev above 3,000. Couldn't rev above 3,000 RPM, so we had the wrong spark plugs in. But we've changed them. We're right enough there. We're going well now. Yeah.
Call that a schoolboy error.
Yeah, it's my error. Yeah. Cheapskate. That's what it is.
Cheapskate. He is from the north. You can obviously hear that. There we go. Alistair Hutchinson, and admitting that it's his fault that they're dropping time through the first stage because of putting the wrong spark plugs in the car. Well, it's a good day for a skid at Brands Hatch, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, a bit steady so far. We managed to pick the tyres wrong twice, so third time lucky, we'd be good on the next one, hopefully.
Xavier had a puncture through that first one, didn't he?
Oh, sure, I didn't know that. Right, okay.
Pull off the stage.
Oh, sugar. Oh, right. Right, no worries. Well, hopefully he's been attended to.
You guys just look like you're having fun. You don't look like you're that sideways out there, given how slippery it is.
I'm not going fast enough. I need to up my game. We're well down.
Brands hasn't always been kind to you, has it?
Yeah, we've had some good outings here at Brands, to be fair. Yeah, like Brands. So, yeah, no, I'd like an excuse. I haven't got one. The car is okay, so I need to shake.
Try my best to give him an excuse there, because I remember the rough times as well, but no excuses. And we mentioned this pair earlier. He's got a big smile on his face as Sam Fordham, so they're thinking of what to say. It's been some time, actually.
Hey mate, how you doing? Yeah.
How was that?
It's tricky, but it's good. The car's amazing. Sam's doing a really good job. Steve Finch has loaned me the car. We're trying to iron out some gremlins with it, but it's a weapon. Yeah, it's really enjoyable.
It's really good to see you guys out, and you must be having a lot of fun out there. Stop looking at your watch. Look at it. Sam's looking at his watch.
Go and speak to him. Go and speak to him because he thinks you don't like him anymore.
We'll speak to him later on. It's a bit too cold for you to do your pitboard trick here today, isn't it?
I'll do it later. If we retire, I'll be out there naked for you.
They heard it here first. Ashley Davies will be out there with his pitboard naked like he was in the Ford KA trophy. Our 2017 Silver Star BTRDA champions in the Finch Fiesta WRC. Well, you're smiling. It looked pretty tricky out there, though.
Well, it's just always lovely to see you, Paul. That puts a smile on my face, seeing your sweet little face under that little hat.
You're just about to see me with the mist coming out from our breath. It's quite slippery out there for a car like this.
Yeah, but it's drying all the time. Second stage is much more grip, and I think it's getting better and better. In fact, we're going to change tyres now, get on to dries off the wets.
Yeah.
Because we're scrubbing the wets otherwise. But no, having a lovely time. It's great to be here. Brands Hatch, on ice. What couldn't be better?
Brands Hatch on ice makes it sound like some kind of theatre show, doesn't it? Nigel Brain, Catherine Brain in the MX-5. There's Joseph Duffy in that Mad Max Load-Silly. Finally catch up. You've had a good start to the championship so far. Last time out was a top 10, fantastic finish.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, last week went really well. We had an issue first stage this morning, battery issue, so we had to sort of nurse it through and just about got over the finish line but that stage everything back to normal, so yeah, hopefully it's a good time when we see it.
It's just an excuse to get to the finish line quicker, isn't it? Before the battery runs out.
Yeah, well, it's just the throttle was going, but yeah, it was cutting in and out a bit intermittently, but yeah, we made it.
Well done, Load Silly's. A strange choice perhaps for a rally car, but here in the Circuit Championship it suits just fine, and it looks the part and it goes pretty well. Well, when the conditions are like this, all you need is rear-wheel drive, is that right?
Oh, it's absolutely and too much power, yeah, that's exactly what you need. Yeah, we're going sideways everywhere.
You are managing to gather it up, though, it looks fun.
Yeah, absolutely, well, look, it's great to be out. Any opportunity to do some motorsport, we're right up for it.
Fantastic, that is what we like to hear, because at the end of the day, we're here talking about championship fights and rally wins, all the rest of it. We want to see our competitors wait, but they're not. They're in that BMW compact, which obviously is a little disappointing. Got the wrong side, Neil, but good to see you. We'll go with Neil's side for this one, and we'll come around yours the next side. Neil, you had a tricky first stage.
Yeah, we got into the car park and the body pins came up.
Was that why you're here?
Yeah, so basically George never been rallied in the UK before, never rallied at Brands before, so I'm sat, never driven the car before, so I'm sat lower in the seat so I could actually see. So to be fair, he did listen and we got round. So.
Yeah, you guys did an amazing job given the screen was up, because you didn't stop to put it down.
No, we didn't. We kept on hitting it, and we had a lot of fun. And he was great with the notes. I said, if people don't believe you drive on the notes, then they don't know what they're doing, because all I had was notes, and he did great.
What a great way to get yourself into the driving seat when you've only got notes, because you can't see where you're going because the bonnet has come up. Mike Bowl has been enjoying himself out there today, and we saw them throwing his car around in the pit lane bits. You enjoying yourself?
Yeah, really enjoying ourselves. That rally stage is really slippery.
Yeah.
Good fun.
The circuit bits look slippery first off, but that time looked better.
Yeah, loads better. 50 seconds quicker, that one.
There we go. That's a huge chunk of time, isn't it? Remarkably well prepared, with lots of kit inside that. I think it's a former Clio Cup car, actually. Vince Sillett was hoping to catch, but he just crept past. I haven't got the live results in front of me as we speak, because I'm juggling microphones, entry lists, and doors, and co-drivers, as it turns out. But if you go to rallies.info, you can match the times to the crews. Richard, you guys having fun?
Good to see you. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, spot the ice patches.
Yeah, that bit on the rally school looks fun in one of these cars.
Yeah, it's not so bad because it's slippery everywhere. There's some of the other bits you've got to watch, which have grippy bits and slippery bits, and you've got to, make sure you know which bit's which.
What's the plan? Are you happy with the pace? You look like you took quite a bit of chunk of time out of that one.
Oh, they're very, very happy. The car's just brilliant. So just going to leave it alone. Carry on.
Expect that from an EDSL car, though, wouldn't you? Richard Weatherly in the EDSL Fiesta Rally 4. Nice bit of kit and a lot of fun, no doubt. Sam, it's an ideal car for the conditions, and you guys are going well.
Yeah, it's all good. We had a little spin at the start of the stage there on the rally school that probably cost us 10 seconds or so. But after that, we got our head down, probably 20 or 30 seconds quicker than we were on stage one.
So, stage 3, brave tyre choice coming up?
Yeah, we'll be good. We'll go a little bit softer and see what happens.
There we go. Michael Igo did just that. Sam Gendy talking about possibly going soft on this next stage, but soft in terms of tyres, not soft in terms of approach inside that Mitsubishi Evo, having a bit of spin on that stage. That'll serve to wake you up on a cold, wintry Brands Hatch morning. Welcome to round 4 of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. If you're just tuning in, welcome to our live coverage on special stage. A bit further up, Mason. We'll get the cars behind if we need to. What a glorious car this Puma kit car is. Just tell us about the car firstly.
Puma V6, it was an Imtech Puma with the Cosworth running gear, now got a Jag V sequential box, rear wheel drive, lots of big slides, lots of fun.
It looks a lot of fun. It looks quick as well. You look smooth.
It's fairly quick, it's bogging down a wee bit at low revs and the really tight stuff, try to get power down, come like the hairpins and things like that, so, but yeah, good fun.
What a great car to see out, these guys coming down from Scotland with their V6 Puma kit car. I didn't realise it had a V6 in it, actually. I thought that was the Cosworth engined car. Scott, you didn't look like you wanted to talk then. How's it going?
All right, it's better than it did at Cadwell. No, it's going well. Yeah, really enjoying it. It's a bit slippy this morning, but that's the same for everybody.
Intimidatingly slippy or just?
No, it's a bit fun slippy. It's good. Yeah, so we're having a bit of fun there.
The rally school section looked good in this.
Yeah. The what?
The rally school section at the start looked fun in this car.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Very good, this whole thing.
Scott Stuchbury didn't have a good run out last time out, but so far enjoying himself. Got quite well in the later model Clio 197. Mick, you got a problem with the car, or are you just having fun revving it?
We are loving it, absolutely amazing. Good weather conditions, bit slippery, but it's what it's all about, isn't it?
Car running okay, it sounded like you were maybe stalling there.
It's lovely, it's good. We just need to go a bit faster.
Brave tyre choice then next.
We're on the right tyre, but maybe some new ones instead of old ones.
Maybe not so brave then, but safety first for Mick Jowers in that Trans Auto Mark II Escort. Just lumpy engine, Scott, great to see you back out, local event. Enjoying yourself?
Yeah, loving it. Yeah. Real slippy on the first one. There's a bit more grip out there that time, so yeah, we had a bit more of a push on, you know. Just want to try and get to the finish today. We've had a bit of reliability issues with the car, but yeah, so hopefully everything's all good.
We're used to seeing the Rayner name going sideways in this neck of the woods.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'd take after my dad's driving style, that's for sure. You know, but yeah, I think we were like 13th overall after the first stage, so well happy with that. You know, so we just want to press on.
That is a fantastic performance in this Mark II. Scott Rayner enjoying himself out there. Vince, you've got the oldest car in the event, and it looks glorious.
Yeah, we're still here. But owned it a long time, so keep polishing it.
It smells right as well. Is that a stupid thing to say?
That's because it's leaking oil. But it's old. It's supposed to leak oil.
It looks fun out there. Is it as slippery as it looks?
No, it's much better now. Yeah. The first one was quite slippery, but it's okay now.
That's Vince Bristow in the little Corbeau liveried Mark I Escort Mexico 1969 car, the oldest car on today's entry list, and lovely looking car. Stephen Johansson then up next through the stop line, and he's really struggled so far this season. I don't think he'd mind me saying that, but Stephen, a mixed bag so far for you this season. It looks like you're trying to just get something from this one. Getting round for the first couple, is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's a fair one. Yeah, I think the first stage was extremely slippy. So it was just about surviving that one, I think, really. But it seems to be a really good time. I think it came out 15th or something. So
yeah, second stage was much better.
Quite surprised, really, even though I didn't think it was quick, how quick it was. And then that stage, yeah, just tidied it all up, really. Just improved on the time. So yeah, we want to progress over the day and just get a good result.
You need some points now, don't you? Stephen, we mentioned earlier one of our racing drivers joining us in this series and enjoying the challenge, but hell, is it a challenge so far in that Subaru. This MG looks like it's planted. Looks like just the right car for these conditions.
It's all right. It's getting there. It's a lot of work. We've changed a lot of things, but we're slowly but surely getting there. A few little teething problems to iron out, but we're learning. You know,
quite a few MGs ZRs as well, so you can benchmark yourself and have a bit of a battle out there today.
That's it. It's good fun. We caught a couple of cars in there, which slowed us down, but we'll get there. It's all fun. We're here for the giggles.
There we go. Occupational hazard on a single venue rally is catching cars, but I tell you what, if you catch them, you know that you're doing something right, or I suppose they're doing something wrong. George Sheard in this glorious little Puma. You were worried when you first bought it, not worried, but you were a little kind of apologetic for it might not have the reliability, but it's been spot on, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been okay so far today, just the drive.
Cursed it for you?
No, just the drive has been unreliable today. No, we've had a good morning run, really. Those first two were good.
It looks good fun out there as well, and this car, perfectly suited, nice wide track, and it's drying up now.
Yeah, it's very well suited around here. I didn't expect it to be this well suited, but it's a good bit of kit for around here.
Good bit of kit for around here. It is a good bit of kit. It's a smart bit of kit as well. The Sheard Autosport, not just MX-5s anymore. Here is that beautiful X-Works Vauxhall Forenza Magnum with Brian Watson, Mike Hewson. They were 8th in the competitive Class C at the Brands Hatch Winter Stages last year. Just stand back that way a little bit. I've got to get enough room to get the cars through here. What a glorious looking car this is, and it sounds pretty good as well. What's it like out there?
Hopefully the driver was as good as the car looks.
Who cares when you're having this much fun?
No, it's good. Yeah, it's really good fun out there. It's not as slippy as I thought, although we struggled to stay on the track in the rally stage, but I think that's a bit overexcitement more than anything.
This car must be a handful even in the best of conditions though.
Yeah, it is a bit of a beast, yeah.
Jimmy McRae's?
No, this is, it was Will Sparrow used to drive it, and before that it was Jerry Marshall, so a bit of history. Now me.
Marshall's got his own history here at Brands Hatch, of course, as well, but great car to see out. Thank you to, of course, I was leaning on Will Sparrow's name there, just like the car that Jim McRae would have driven back in the day, a DTV, X-Works, Vauxhall Forenza Magnum. What a cracking looking car, and quite often these X-Works cars just sit in private collections and they gather dust and get enjoyed and seen by a select few. So fair play to anyone who brings a car like that out. competitively and uses it as it was intended. So don't forget rallies.info is where you'll get your live results if you want to accompany the reaction from the end of stage 2 here with those results. Mick, not exactly the perfect conditions out there, but it looks good fun.
It's good now. Yeah. It's all dried out. It's no ice. It's all gone. So, pedal to the metal.
It's a different car to the one I first saw you here in a few years ago at Brands Hatch.
Cosworth, didn't we? Yeah, the S-Ilk Cosworth. I fell out of love with that, and then we bought this one. So another one in between, but yeah, this
could have done with four-wheel drive today on the first stage.
On the first stage, definitely. Yeah. But now it's all right. It's all good.
The man with his name above the door, MGJ Engineering's Mick Johnson, Peter Pears alongside, enjoying himself in that Mark II, and you will hopefully remember the yellow Escort Cosworth that we used to see. I started the day stuck behind you in a hotel car park, and now everyone else has been chasing you down out there on the circuit. How's it going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Yeah, it's good. Second event. So, yeah, it's going really well. It's really icy. The old rally stage is really, really interesting. Lots of sideways for a Clio, which isn't normally its favourite turf, but it's going well. It's going well. It's good.
Front-wheel drive with a diff going sideways. Perfect. No diff, no diff. Oh, you are brave.
Oh, yeah, open diff.
There we go. No limited slip differential in that little Clio of Tom Clark and Danny Paul. Mike, everything okay in it?
Yeah, good. Getting warmed up now.
You look really relaxed for someone who's just on a rally stage at Brands Hatch in ice.
You just got to take it all in and lap it up and enjoy it. It's all for fun.
I said earlier that an ST150 is perfect because those tight sections you can chuck it around. You have been in the pit lane, you've been getting up again around nicely, and it's got enough power, hasn't it, especially in these conditions, to have some fun on the fast bits.
It's got a little bit of power now, just waiting for the gearbox next, and then maybe come back and SNET and do a bit better.
There we go. So working your way through the season, Mike Webb, Steve Noble, working your way through the season, upgrading the car as you go. Snetterton up next. He's already got his eyes on the prize there. Charles, you enjoying yourself out there?
Fantastic. I preferred that stage to the first one, certainly. So less slippery.
Yeah, it looks a bit tiptoey, the first one.
Yeah, there's a dry line appearing now, so now it's a tyre choice as to whether we got the right things or do we be brave or maybe stupid and put something a bit softer on. So there's plenty of that for sure.
That sounds like a promise to me. From Charles Gaston in the Prism Mark II. First of our sunbeams here. Goodness me, that's nice, isn't it? Philip, this is glorious. I love a good sunbeam.
It's different, isn't it? So, yeah, it's a bit of an handful up there. Well, this morning it was, but
yeah,
it's getting better.
A sunbeam sideways, pivoting on the front wheels, is exactly what it's designed to do. It shouldn't go straight line.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's funny. Full of rally school is slippery. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
So you've had your fun. Now is it time to knuckle down and get your eyes on those stage times?
Well, it was because I didn't listen to my navigator this morning and missed a loop. So the second stage was longer.
At least you're smiling about that. You could have been in trouble, mate.
It is what it is. We're only here for fun anyway. So, yeah, we're historic, so we can't compete anyway.
Well, you're having fun and we're having fun. You are competing. That's the thing. We're in a historic, so we can't compete. Get out of it. Peter and Samantha Chislett. We'll move you a bit forward so we can let people pass if they want to get past. Alex, happy enough?
Yeah, now, yes. Yeah, we had an issue on stage one. We had no clutch, so that's why we're late behind everybody. Just trying to catch up and carry on again a bit more now.
Not exactly the most ideal of conditions for a game of catch-up, but we'll just pull the cars up a little bit so we can allow people to pull through if they want. Later, Chrysler front end on the team. TI, second of our sunbeams. You enjoying yourself?
Yeah, we're having great fun. It's very slidey out there, as everybody says. We've had a few moments, but yeah, no, we're in a good crack.
I just said to Philip, that's exactly why you drive a sunbeam, though.
Exactly, yeah. You wouldn't want to go any other way apart from sideways, would you?
Why would you get a sunbeam and want to drive in a straight line? It doesn't work. Paul and Ben Garraway in their second of our sunbeams today. Nice variety, as always, here in the Circuit Rally Championship. Oh, sorry. Just knocking the cameraman out with your door. How are things?
Yeah, good. It's drying nicely. Yeah, it's quite quick.
Yeah, remarkably, I thought everybody would be talking about how slippery and terrifying it was out there. Everyone's enjoying themselves.
Yeah, first time out it was a little bit slippery in the rally section down the bottom, but after that it dried out. It was all good.
Some relaxed our competitors today. Yes, there we go. Peter Hinton, Dean Mitchell came 16th last year's event. John, it's a day for front-wheel drive and keeping things on the tarmac, isn't it?
Certainly. Slippery to start with, now it's a nice dry line, and yeah, just going in to change some tyres. So hopefully we'll carry on doing what we're doing.
These guys are far too relaxed to have been throwing rally cars around an icy rally stage at Brands Hatch. John Bray in the MGZR. This Escort here has got some damage on the side. There's a story here, and Ben's going to tell us the story. How did you come to rearrange your door, Ben?
We just caught some of the Armco on coming, where was it, at the pits?
Yeah, just by where the split is.
Where the split. But I don't know how much damage it is. I can see there's damage, but I don't know. Presume it's still half intact.
It's half intact. We'll go with half intact. I don't want to upset him too much, but that was a very immaculate Mark II of Ben's coming into this. Ben Smith, with Ben Smith alongside, funnily enough. It's not so intact now, but it is just cosmetic. You must have seen my face and is it bad, he says. If you're just tuning in, you are tuning in to round 4 of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. It's the MGJ Engineering Brands Hatch Winter Stages. Damien, his car is immaculate. You're going to want to keep it that way and find a balance between doing that and getting it forward as quickly as you can.
That's my first rally and the car's first rally, so yeah, that's more of a balance of keeping that and us in one piece.
First rally ever?
Ever.
Congratulations, because, you know, that's living the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good. So
that was a baptism of fire, wasn't it?
That is a baptism of fire in a rear-wheel drive Escort.
On ice.
Yeah, so yeah, we were 47 seconds quicker on that stage than the first one, so we're making some progress.
Fantastic. Damien Long's first ever rally in a big power Mark II Escort on ice at Brands Hatch, on gravel, on tarmac. You look like you're having far too much fun out there.
Way too much fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, really good, really good.
Nice and sideways for you?
Not too bad.
You were in the tight bits, you were flicking it around?
Yeah, a little bit. You've got to have a play, haven't you?
Yes.
So.
What's the plan now? You've had your play. Is it hammered down, brave tyres on?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Got to speak to him.
Co-driver's going to have a few words on that one. That is a very lightweight dog. We talked about that car earlier, actually. It's at first glance you think it's Cosworth. It's not. It's an RS 2000. Ooh, nice camouflage colour scheme, but you're anything but camouflaged out there. You're chucking this thing around.
Trying to blend in. Yeah, everything's going well. We're just losing the brakes around the second lap, so we have to really pump them to get any kind of... I think they're overheating potentially, so we're going to change the pads now and then hopefully we'll have a better loop.
You're on standard brakes for the VTR, are you?
Yes, this is pretty much standard car actually, all round, so just have a bit of fun and yeah, see where we end up end of the day.
Yeah, I would expect you to be to pump your brakes with standard brakes on a slippery but fast rally like this one. Here we go, big smiles inside here. Rear-wheel drive, ice, Brands Hatch, great combination, yeah?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think because we're running nearer the back, it's clearing up a bit for us, so we seem to be doing all right, to be honest. And everyone's coming away saying it's slippery, but we're not noticing it too much, but we're new to it, so we don't know what to expect.
First time I've seen for a long time a steering wheel, standard steering wheel with volume controls, and the radio's still on. We've got the radio on in here.
Yeah, no, it's pumping.
Got happy hardcore tunes inside. We've got a party over here, says Morgan Sparrow, Martin Corbett. Stuart, how on earth do you come to be driving Dan's car with him in the co-driver seat?
Well, just a mix-up on the entry form, I'm sure. But no, it's fun to swap seats for an event. Dan's first time co-driving, and I'll get to feel a little bit what the car does before we get into the junior championship.
That's it. Well, we've seen you obviously on the other side, but it's good to have that experience as well, probably in your own car, having a look at how it should be done. So should we say that?
Well, I'm not sure about how it should be done, but I'll think up some excuses during the day.
Good to have you back in the driver's seat in the championship, Stuart Gilks, with perhaps the smallest steering wheel I've seen for a long time in a rally car. This Mini really is glorious.
Hello.
The Christmas Mini, as I was describing it earlier, as you were threading your way through that first stage, cracking to see historic Minis out competing. You having fun?
Yeah, also absolutely awesome, really brilliant, really enjoyed it. Yeah, absolutely mega. Second lap, brilliant. Yeah, excellent, fantastic.
A classic Mini on snow, let's call it snow, sideways and skipping around is quite an iconic scene, really.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's really good. I'm really surprised how well and responsive it is. It's really good. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Thank you very much.
Good stuff. Big smiles inside the Christmas Mini Duncan Christmas. Laura Christmas alongside. Thomas, you guys are having fun, I can see, because you're both smiling, but there's a bit of a battle of the MGZRs out there, isn't there? Is it a battle for honour, or are we not there yet after 2 stages?
To be honest, we haven't actually been looking at the results. We've been focusing on actually just getting back.
Far too sensible. Right, 3rd stage, you've got to be looking at the results. We want some fire going on here. You've got to have... Come on, we need that game face.
Well, yeah, we'll have a look when we get back.
There we go. He's going to have a look at the times when we get back, and we'll wind them all up. If we need a battle going on. I love the bumper pods on the side of Alex's ST. I love the bumper pods on this, Alex.
Yeah, we're loving it. A little bit of a home creation.
It looks really good, but it looks fun as well, most importantly.
Yeah, we're here. The weather's held up. We're having fun. That's what it's all about.
The weather's held up. It's icy out there. Who drives Brands Hatch in the ice?
It's great. We're loving it. We're having a right time.
It's a great car for this stage, isn't it? Because you've got that tight bit at the beginning, and then you've got nice flowing bits, and they're cracking, winding them up.
Yeah, we're really happy with it. It's we're having a great laugh out there. Really good.
Alex Steele enjoying himself in that Fiesta ST 150. I hope you can get a flavour of how much it doesn't matter what car you're driving in the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. Fancy getting out rallying. It's a really accessible way to get into it. That wasn't the ideal start, Xavier, was it? No. But was it a puncture?
Puncture, yeah. We just clipped the concrete block that was on the exit of the coming out of the sort of pit complex. Yeah, puncture, had to stop, change the tyre, gutted.
Frustrating start to the day, but at least you're still here.
Yep, we're still in it, we're still moving, so we'll try and keep moving forwards.
There we go. Xavier Brook, puncture to start the day. Not the ideal start, but we mentioned earlier, you can't keep going on a puncture on these stages. Most sideways moment of the day was probably stage 1 with you guys.
Yes, it was. It was enjoyable, yeah, it was great.
You just literally sent it.
Yep, yeah, it wasn't intentional, but we survived, so it's fine.
It's fine. Were you high-fiving at the end of that?
No, just terrified.
We hope that you're going to have a lot of fun inside the car after that moment. You saw that through the first stage. Dominic Norman, Vlad Arlolino, and it looks like we are just about through with our entries from that 2nd stage. So we're going to be back with more coverage from stage 3 here at the MGJ Engineering Brands Hatch Winter Stages very soon. We're going to go with a short break. I'm going to hot-foot it back to the studio, and we'll have an update and a recap of the results and the leaderboards so far when we go live in a few minutes' time. Don't go away, keep the stream going, and we'll be back soon. Round 3 of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship would mark the last event of 2023 before the Christmas break, and winter had certainly made its presence known here in the Midlands, with the crews waking up to some pretty treacherous conditions. Perhaps mostly as a result of the conditions, the leaderboard would make for some interesting viewing early doors. For Michael Igoe and Will Atkins, they'd reached the end of stage 3 with the lead of the rally, but it hadn't been that way from the start. A new car this weekend and a mix of that and some pretty interesting conditions out there on the stages had seen them down as far as 13th place overall on the first stage before climbing their way back up the leaderboard. Igoe had been going backwards as much as he'd been going forwards. A number of spins in the icy conditions not helping his times, including this one seen on board with John Griffiths and Emma Morrison. This short piece of onboard really showing how tricky the conditions were out there for the crews on the opening stage here at Donington Park. Saying that, it didn't seem to be a problem for Mark Jasper and Don Wyatt. They reached the end of the morning in second place. They'd been in the lead after the opening stage. The 80s back on top once more. The 6R4 clearly coping well with the conditions and showing that it still has what it takes. The car and the crew, of course. We saw their spin a minute ago, but apart from the car swapping ends from time to time, things were going well for John Griffiths and Emma Morrison. They'd been in second place, but that charge from Igoe had pushed them and the Metro down a position, both of them. They were third place for now, only 5 seconds off the lead. They come here, though, leading the championship, and it was all eyes on that 3 rounds in. For Ollie O'Donovan and Jack Morton, it would be 4th place. They'd been in 3rd, but were another crew dropping a position in the later morning stages. They were going well, though, only further 4 seconds back. David Welch and Andrew Smith make a strong start to the rally with 5th place in the Subaru. Their last event was on the gravel of the Moulton stages, so all of this gravel on the infield should be a little familiar to them at least. One crew really struggling with the conditions, and here struggling to stop on the gravel would be Paul Murrow and Callum Cross, almost running into the back of Ollie O'Donovan. Thankfully, no contact was made, and that wouldn't be another rearranged rear end to that Hyundai after their incident at Cadwell Park. Murrow end the morning 6th place overall. For Philip House and Nick Beaumont, it will be the lead in Class D. A good start for the Escort pair. They lead the way in the 2-wheel drive crews at this stage from 7th place overall. And that lead in the 2-wheel drive crews would be over Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones. 27 seconds back overall, but they were in a different class, of course. So the Class C lead will be theirs for now too. For Paul Morgan and Sam Stafford, it will be 2nd place in that class behind Hodgson. Going well, hovering around their 9th place for the whole morning. Now just a single second back from the Escort pair. And rounding out the top 10 were Alistair Stables and Neil Jones in the Chevette. Themselves only 4 seconds back in the class as well at this stage. Outside the top 10 and some more of the Class C runners, it will be 4th place in the class for Anthony Allery and Richard Bonner, the pair in 13th overall. And for James Garner and Jordan Joins, in that previous championship winning car, of course, it will be 5th place in the class, around 8 seconds back on the overall times as well in 15th. One of the giant killing performances of the morning, though, would belong to Ashley Furlong and Fiona Crump. They came out of stage 1 in 3rd place overall. Clearly quite comfortable and able to tame the icy conditions. But they weren't giving it the big one as far as Ashley was concerned. They were just trying to keep it on the road. Sadly for them, though, they would suffer with gearbox problems, slipping down the order before retiring the Clio after stage 3. So that left Chris White and Jason Harris, 3rd in Class D at this stage, behind the Clio, but with them set to disappear from the order. The standings could all change in the afternoon. For Andrew Turner and John Cope, it will be 4th in the class. The Mark II pair around half a minute back in that position, in 17th place overall. John Cope getting quite used to co-driving these days. They'd have to watch their mirrors, though. Alex Stubbs and Rhys Edwards would only be 2 seconds back from them on the overall and the class standings after stage 3. In Class B, we already had a few of our crews in the top of the order, but just behind those, it will be the Evo of Sam Gendy and Samantha Bartlett taking third place in the class for now. And it would be around half a minute back to Dave Barbara and Christian Davies in that fantastic Alpha four-wheel drive. Great to see something different out on the stages, the thrum of a Subaru engine clear to hear from that Italian 80s classic. Fifth in the class will be the Evo pair of Ian Jarvis and Harry Walshaw, just a handful of seconds back in that position themselves in 37th place. And we'd see some good times being put in from our Class E runners. Joseph and Daniel Duffy in the Lotus going well to lie in 14th place overall. You'd think the conditions wouldn't suit this class, but they were going well in that little Lotus. As were, in fact, Paul Sheard and Colin Stevens. The pair had been up in 6th place overall after the opening stage, slipping down a little now to 16th overall, second in the class, but more than respectable in these conditions. For Daniel Paul and Chris Coombs in the Corsa, it will be third in the class. A good start, but they do slip down a position overall into 22nd now. George Clark and Stephen Moises would bring the Mini out once again, this time lying 4th in the class, gaining time on the overall results as well in 22nd place. And 5th in that class were Harry Pinchin and Colin Jenkins, the Citroen pair just less than a minute back in 34th place overall. It was the lead in Class F for Matt and Adrian Walk, a convincing lead as well after the morning's stages. Although that lead didn't look like changing anytime soon, it would be over Chris Worrell and Jonathan Hudson, second in the class, 46th overall. It'd be much closer to third as well. Callum and Danny Powell only 3 seconds back at this stage in the class and in 48th overall. 43 seconds back from those class podium positions at this stage would be Kay Thompson and Robert Wiggins. They'd have a 30-second comfort margin as well over Glyn and Owain Thomas, who end the morning 5th in the class and 64th on the leaderboard. So with 3 of the day's 6 long and treacherous stages complete, the leaderboard at the top of the North Side Truck and Van Donington stages was starting to shape up like this. We head back out into the afternoon then. Rain had made that ice even more treacherous in places, and the temperatures weren't helping things either. A look at some of the classes before we look at the overall results. And there'd be some change in Class F as we see Ben de Ronda and Peter Beaumont taking 5th place in the class by the finish. For Kay Thompson and Robert Wiggins, there wouldn't be any change. They stay in that 4th place, ending the event 50th overall. For Chris Worrell and Jonathan Hudson, it will be a position lost in the afternoon. Frustratingly for the pair, they dropped down to 3rd in the class, but that still is a strong result, particularly in these conditions. That means, though, it's a move to 2nd for Callum and Danny Powell, taking that position by just 6 seconds by the finish of the rally. As we had predicted, though, there'd be no catching Matt and Adrian Walk. They'd led the class from the start, taking a class victory by the end of the day. In Class E, it was 5th place for Matt Wheeler and Robbie Sanford, 32nd overall in the Citroen. Harry Pinchin and Colin Jenkins had gone well, and they gained a place as well to finish the event 4th in class, 29th overall. Paul Sheard and Colin Stevens couldn't quite get back into the top 10 where they'd started the day, but they managed to end the rally 20th place overall, 3rd in the class. 2nd in the class would go to this man, Daniel Paul. Chris Coombs alongside in that wide-arched Corsa kit car, gaining that position in the afternoon as well, ending the event in 16th on the overall leaderboard. But taking the class victory will be Joseph and Daniel Duffy, Mad Max light bar on the roof in that Lotus, going well all day to take the class win from 14th overall. In Class B, we'd see a slip down to 5th for Dave Barbara and Christian Davies after they lost some time to the crews ahead in the class through the afternoon stages. And they trade places with Ian Jarvis and Harry Walshaw, the pair moving to 4th place in the class by the finish. No change for Sam Gendy and Samantha Bartlett. They remained 3rd in the class. They hadn't really been challenging those leading crews, but their times were good, and that was a strong finish. With the Class B leaders making up most of the top 10, we'll take a look first at Class D. And for Chris and Steve Grundy, it will be a move up the results to take 5th place in the class this weekend. Alex Stubbs and Reese Edwards gain a position to move into 4th in the class, 15th on the overall leaderboard. And for Andrew Turner and John Cope, who, let's face it, is more used to being in the driver's seat, it will be a couple of places higher on the overall times in 12th. The pair doing enough today for 3rd in class. 2nd in the class would belong to a hard-charging Chris White and Jason Harris, finishing just outside our top 10 in 11th place overall. Nigel and Catherine Brain would gain a few positions in Class C. A spin in the morning, though, had lost them some time, but they did claw some back, ending the rally in 5th place in the class, 21st overall. For Anthony Allery and Richard Bonner, it will be 4th in the class. They'd end the event in 13th place overall as well in the Escort. We're on to the top 10 then, and continuing the Class C standings, we see James Garner and Jordan Joins taking that 10th spot in 3rd in the class. 2nd in the class runners will be Paul Morgan and Sam Stafford. The Civic pair taking 9th place on the overall results as well, an impressive performance in difficult conditions. For Alistair Stables and Neil Jones, as exciting as ever to watch, it would be the ideal way to end the rally. They take a Class C victory, as well as moving up the overall standings to an 8th place finish. Alistair's aim of winning the championship for Class C going well so far. It would be a class victory as well for MSV instructors Philip House and Nick Beaumont. No excuses, lads, and they didn't need them either. They take the Class D win this weekend in the Escort. Mark Jasper and Don Wyatt, meanwhile, weren't able to get back to the top of the results in that 80s Group B Metro 6R4. The conditions just getting the better of them. Perhaps it was those cars around them as well. The playing field not levelled as much as it has been first thing. But they do make it as far as 6th place overall, 2nd in the class. And let's face it, they won on style points. Paul Murrow and Callum Cross gain a position through the afternoon stages, ending the rally 5th place overall. Not too far off that crew up ahead either. And that crew would be the Subaru at David Welch and Andrew Smith. Despite clouting one of the chicanes early on, they keep things in the top of the order, taking a 4th place finish by the end of the day. The podium crews this weekend had opened up a good advantage in those positions, and likely to have been caught on merit with a 2-minute gap by the finish to 3rd place. And in that position will be John Griffiths and Emma Morrison, our championship leaders, of course, and looking to defend last year's title. Some good points to add to that season tally before the short Christmas break. For Irishman Ollie O'Donovan, Jack Morton alongside for this weekend, it will be 2nd place. A sensible drive from the pair, which was a little bit out of the ordinary, considering Ollie's usual sideways style, but then there was a lot of experience sat beside him. But giving the new car its maiden victory will be Michael Igoe and Will Atkins. They put in another strong performance to give them another maximum points finish in the championship. Not only maximum points though, but the overall rally win as well. So the 3rd round of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship comes to a close. Here's a look back at how those overall results were decided at a treacherous Donington Park. Welcome back to round 4 of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship. It is the Brands Hatch Winters stages. And, well, if you were tuned in first thing this morning, and in a moment when we get back onto the stages, get the cameras flicked back onto the stage here at Brands Hatch, you would think we were in 2 different time zones, positively autumnal. And as a result, we've got some soft and super soft tyre choices coming into play for stage 3. It's a slightly shorter layout for stage 3 as well, 4.7 miles compared to the 4.9 miles of stages 1 and 2. Again, we're starting on the old rally school. We're heading through the bottom paddock, which is where, if you've been to events like the Brands Hatch American Speed Fest, that's where the monster truck display is down there. And you also have a lot of the paddock for things like BSB and touring cars down there. And then they come through that paddock, up past the Kentagon, and then onto the top of the circuit near Paddock Hill Bend. It's a nicely varied stage layout here at Brands, and it's good to use different surfaces and different bits of the venue. It's what used to make circuit rallies when they ran as single venues back in the 80s and 90s special. And Brands Hatch is a favourite with the drivers and the co-drivers. You saw the smiles earlier. It's treacherous conditions, far from ideal to be out there in a rally car, you would think, but actually everybody enjoying themselves, even those who have had a few issues, as they were at round 2. And you're just looking at scenes from Cadwell Park. You know, I do 2 things when we do live rally coverage. I can't help it. I talk about Cadwell Park and I talk about Clan Crusaders, and Wayne Goldring assures me there'll be a montage of Clan Crusaders coming up next. I am, of course, joking, but you see round 2 where Patrick O'Donovan and Jack Morton really gave us a new face, a new couple of names on the leaderboard to be watching in terms of the championship this season, when they took such an emphatic victory. Patrick's first time out in the car and on a rallycross star, and it's easy to say, yeah, but he knows what he's doing. But to listen to the co-driver, you've got to take instruction, and you know, rallycross drivers are a cross between race drivers and rally drivers, and they're not really used to listening to here at round 4, having missed Donington Park. Super soft, as the conditions were starting to thaw out, turned out to be the choice. 17 seconds the gap out front, and just 5 seconds then back to John Griffiths and Emma Morrison in 3rd place. So Patrick O'Donovan, Jack Morton with a good tyre choice and with a slightly less scrappy first stage in these slippery conditions would be perhaps a fair way into that 17-second deficit. But 2 stages down and 6 left to go. There's still a lot of stage mileage out there to be had on this venue here at Brands Hatch at round 4. Tony Robinson, Paul Spooner at the moment in 4th place. They came 4th at Cadwell as well. As you watch some of the action from round 2 in the Lincolnshire Wolds, while we wait to get the cars back into the stage here at Brands Hatch. So Tony Robinson, Paul Spooner were pretty happy with that one, actually. A change of tyre for most of our top 10, apart from Michael Igo and Will Atkins, on the cards when we go back out rallying in the 3rd stage of the day. Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley in 5th place, 2nd back from Robinson and Spooner. Then Richard Weaver, Dylan Thomas, just 6 back in 6th place. Further 2nd back to Joshua Davey, Tamsin Davey, who started so well in Darien T90 GTR and just about keeping the Darien going surprisingly well, despite it being so slippery this morning. That big power rear-wheel drive lightweight sports car. 1 second back from the Fiesta R5 in front. Then the second of our Hyundai i20 R5s, Ollie O'Donovan, Ashley Morris, 6 seconds back in 8th place. 3 seconds then to Martin Hodgson and Tony Jones, coming here leading the championship in Class C and hoping to steal a march with some notable names from the entry list, not least Alistair Stables, who would normally be here in that grey, wide-arched Vauxhall Chevette. Good chance for Martin to put a bit of distance on the leaderboard and the points tally in the championship campaign between him and a few others. Darrell Taylor and Steve McNulty, who have had a bit of a mixed bag here at Brands Hatch in the past. A few incidents, notable ones in that Martini-ish liveried Rally 2 Fiesta. At the top to now. As we still bring you scenes from Cadwell Park, Lee Sellers' beautiful Triumph 2.5. What a fantastic rally car. Still got the walnut dash, by the way. And it was being slowly gobbled up by that Mini, as you can see. Interesting picture that, wasn't it? But we can only be a couple of minutes away. Andrew Bisping, who does the media for the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship, has just popped into our media suite here. It is a good championship now, but it's growing in momentum now, isn't it, Andrew?
It is. It's fantastic. Yeah, second year under this structure, so effectively organised by a cooperative of the clubs that run the individual rounds, and it feels like it's going from strength to strength.
Yeah, the entries are up, the profile of the entries are up, and we've got, you know, new stars coming into our mids at Cadwell Park. We saw the Patrick O'Donovan, you know, nail his colours to the mast, and he's back here to try and get a championship campaign underway now. And genuinely, when you get halfway through a championship like this, you normally would expect to have people who have sort of shown clear pace, and you know where you're putting your money, but you genuinely don't, do you, this year?
No, you don't. I mean, it was certainly absolutely at the top of the field. In writing a preview for it, seeded at number 1, last year's winners, last year's Circuit Rally champions. That's easy. But then at 2, the man who's done 1 rally but won it. And then you've got Michael Igoe behind, now leading today. And I think the amazing thing is that this event last year, he was seeded at car 39 because he was a newcomer to rallying. Yeah. He had all that GT racing and other racing experience, but only a couple of months later he won at Donington Park.
In those days, you could hardly have expected that he'd be driving Brands Hatch in the snow.
No, not really. It was interesting, wasn't it, at Graham Hill Bend for stage 1. The ground was so frosted, it was almost as though it almost looked like snow coming up from the tyres.
I'm calling it snow. I'm having it.
Yeah, have it. That's because you're in the warm.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you've been out in the cold as well, though. But no, it's absolutely great. And I think the other thing is that you've got these R5 cars, these wonderful sort of 4-wheel drive turbocharged cars at the front, but then you've got people in MX5, MGZR, the little Peugeot hot hatches, and you've got that complete spread. People, and a whole number of people today who are doing only their first or second rally. Of course they're at the other end of the field, but look at the way people have come up as they've gained experience.
I'm just looking at the top 10 leaderboard at the minute, and just outside in 11th place, and only 5 seconds back from a Rally 2 Fiesta is Sam Cox, with Jack Cox alongside in a Renault Clio Cup car. That is what this championship is great at, isn't it? It does level the playing field. And, you know, you get the it's not proper rallying type comments online and things like that, but actually what is proper rallying? Driver and co-driver alongside each other, having to communicate, and with it all on the line in a variety of rally cars at quite iconic venues. I think that's rallying.
Absolutely, fantastic venue. And I guess that communication is even more important as John Griffiths and Emma Morrison are out on stage. It's even more important with the laps. You've got to count your laps right. If you get that wrong, you're in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that particularly with the bonnet up, didn't we? Neil Coleman having to bark instructions earlier on to his driver, because you've got the bonnet up and you can't see where you're going. And at that point, you're in a lot of trouble. So we have got cars back on the stage. This is a 4.7 George Sherman. Sorry, I forgot George's name there. In the Fiesta R5, who had his bonnet up earlier. Fantastic drive, given he couldn't see where he was going.
Just to add to that, I spoke to George while he was queuing up for scrutineering yesterday. He'd never even seen Brands Hatch this morning, and at stage 1 he still had hardly seen Brands Hatch.
I haven't driven that car before either, so he had to be sort of talked around the stage by Neil. Luckily, he had an experienced co-driver alongside. So our 2 first cars are onto the stage. We've got John Griffiths and Emma Morrison. Now you're looking at Patrick O'Donovan, Jack Morton alongside, and at the moment those guys are in second place, just 17 seconds back. Michael Igoe, Will Atkins onto the circuit in the Citroen C3 Rally 2 as well. They've decided to stick with the Citroen, having tried the Fiesta to start the season, gone into the Citroen as a new car last time out at Donington Park, and he did say, I'm gonna try a Skoda for the next round, but Santa Claus didn't bring a Skoda at Christmas, so we're still in the Citroen, and he's actually put the Citroen on the side of the trailer now, so I'm pretty certain that car's going to stay around for a little while. So Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris are actually behind John Griffiths and Emma Morrison having come out of the merge. They'll now be using that Fiesta R5 just to pull them in. There's a bit of a thing about following somebody around. If you've ever done it, you'll know that once you've got a car in front of you, particularly a fast car, and you don't get faster than you're defending and reigning champions in a Fiesta R5, it does make you a bit quicker. So Ollie O'Donovan, Ashley Morris will be glad of that opportunity. Michael Igo, Will Atkins really dancing that C3 Rally 2 car around. We saw Michael have that big issue at Donington Park, spinning on the ice and the slush down the start-finish straight, down the Wheatcroft straight, and gathered it back up. He's really getting to grips with that car and seems to really know what he's doing with it. That was a little bit cheeky there. Patrick just letting Tony Robinson know that he's there. Tony Robinson at the moment in 4th place with Paul Spooner alongside in that Skoda Fabia. And oh, big slide there. Isn't it, in the blue Fiesta R5? Big slide there through the Graham Hill bend. That was a spectacular scene. You were down there. That probably looked pretty tasty. Michael Igo, Will Atkins along the start finish, and you can see how hard Patrick O'Donovan and Jack Morton are trying. They're on 3 wheels at every opportunity. And that hairpin there is providing a lovely opportunity. He nips the tyres, Andrew, every time he goes through there. They're really pushing. Stage 3, and it's drying up. They're all on soft tyres now, and the hammer's down.
Yeah, it is, and that hairpin is not level, so it's different now on stage 3, going downhill, harder going downhill.
Let's be honest, it's not meant to be a hairpin, is it?
Well, I mean, people say Druids is tight, don't they? But it's not.
Richard Weaver, Dylan throwing that Fiesta R5 around. They came into this stage 6th place, and that is an entry list full of people who are used to doing these rounds and are fighting for championship points, and they've had a taste of that, Weaver and Thomas, and it seems like they want a bit more of it because they're really throwing it around. Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley were loving it today. They're 5th place at the moment and just having a ball inside their Fiesta. And this morning, I was expecting a lot of people complaining and getting their rally driver book of excuses out. Everyone was absolutely loving those stages this morning in the ice.
I know, I was stood outside on the top of the commentary tower for stage 1, and Graham Hill Bend, yeah, probably the frostiest part. People having to be really cautious and measured in their use of the throttle as they went up there. And now, of course, it's completely different. So it's a game changer, isn't it? And
Martin Hodgson just getting it crossed up coming into the chicane, was perhaps not quite sure whether that chicane. I don't think he managed to rearrange any of the furniture or the decor on the front of the car, and no, he didn't, but that was a bit of a dicey moment. I know you couldn't see that on your screen, but it was just at the top of Paddock Hill Bend. Graham Hill Bend, though, it looks where people nearly did that and came a cropper.
Yeah, it is a bend which seems to catch people out on the first stage of this rally every year. I must admit, I didn't see who went off across the grass. The grass is marked now. I thought everyone had behaved themselves pretty well, but it was challenging. Martin's just actually also struggled around the hairpin then. He just...
Red mist. I think he just needs to calm down after that incident at the chicane, which sometimes can get the better of you. Wayne Labalestia in the Mitsubishi Evo 3 was a little bit... It didn't seem that. He was the only driver we spoke to who just sort of seemed a little bit grumpy after the first 2 stages, and I told him to turn the anti-lag up to max, and he said it already is. But it's a great looking car, that, and the variety again. Another round of the MGJ engineering circuit, but look at it, he's enjoying himself now, he's flinging it around.
He's going all right now. I'm going to say it's because he's signed up today for the ACSMC Regional Championship, so he's got to go for now.
There we go, so he's got something to fight for. Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley, we just saw them in the Fiesta R5. Again, going really well. Not many drivers are used to going round hairpins this tight, and they're all doing a marvellous job, I've got to say. The sun's out here at Brands Hatch. We've got a fair bit of tyre smoke. I think that was Wayne in the, it was either Wayne in the Evo or it was Sean Quigley in the R5 locking up. Lots of tyre smoke, but you saw Wayne out of the way. Did you? I'm not sure you can see that because the view past the Kentagon, and that's one of the great things about using these venues for rally cars is that we can get fans up close to really the cars and dynamics of the cars. Oh, Sean Quigley sideways under braking on the slot through to where the Kentagon is. So we've switched around, we're in a different direction now, and they're ending on the rally school section of the stage. And so you're seeing the cars come off the circuit part of the stage, heading through past the Kentagon, down through the lower paddock here at Brands Hatch, and then onto the rally school. That'll be a nice slippery end to the stage for them.
Yeah, I think it will be. During setup, I walked around to the rally school stage. The frost never thawed last night in the most shady parts with the trees at the top. So I'm guessing it would have been very slippery this morning. Picking up on your reference to the Kentagon, because it function in it open today. From what Sean really just overlooked the cars. As car 16, the Clio 200. Is that the Cox one? From memory, they just had, 11th overall. Thank you. Yep, they just had a quick spin down there, and then what I'm going to imagine is the top 1400 car, the Anthony and Christopher Newton car going around Druids, because they're just ridiculously quick in a 1400 car.
Well, they are, but they've also swapped seats, so you've got Navigator Chris. Oh, I tell you what, Paul Sheard is going to explore that tyre barrier and the rector cell bail. Luckily, didn't look like he managed to get it stopped on the grass, but you can't see that on your screen. But just at Graham Hill Bend is locked up and gone straight on, and the rector cell bail, the straight on Armco with the protection on it. Luckily, doesn't look like he's thumped it that hard. I'm going to say he's moving again. He's coming across the grass. But yeah, the Kentagon viewing area is a little bit like to watch the action. From outside the cafe, the bar area, which is great, and the Newtons again throwing that Nova around. Co-driver Chris jumping in, and Anthony actually enjoying himself in the co-driver seat. I would not have enjoyed. In fact, I did a in the co-driver seat, and I remember thinking, I'm glad he's already bought this off me, because it's not the nicest of experience being in the car that you're used to driving and co-driving. Yeah, Paul Sheard's MX-5 looks like it's relatively unscathed from that incident, which is remarkably lucky. So having a quick look at the classes as you see our competitors on stage. If you're just tuning in, this is the Brands Hatch Winter Stages, round 4 of the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship, and it's a lot drier and less slippery than it was this morning. If you tuned in this morning, it's almost like 2 different climates. I love seeing that Cossack Escort being swung around the hairpin there. It looks great. Class A pretty much taken up by our leading crews, although at the moment Sean Quigley and Colin Quigley are showing as leading Class A, which doesn't really stack up, does it, given where they are on the overall leaderboard. But heading to Class B, Wayne Labalestier in the Evo 3 Mitsubishi, Roland Francis alongside are leading the way from Stephen Johansson, Chris Cooper. Then you've got Sam Gendy and Sam Bartlett. Sam really enjoying himself and feeling like he got into the groove pretty quickly in that Mitsubishi Evo, and that is showing on the times as well. Evo 9. Class C at the moment, but James Crossland, Loic Ditchburn in what was meant to be a Ferrari 308, Andrew, and has suddenly become a BMW compact, which I don't want to play a BMW compact down. Quattro Volio out there, and hear that
they came into the scrutineering area yesterday and explained to the noise test crew that it was it's interesting just seeing 26, the Mark 1 Escort, go down. It was hassling a Mitsubishi Evo earlier.
Which is the beauty of these events. You do have very unique cars and tussles on the stages and on the tarmac, not necessarily on the timesheets, but when you're alongside, you get that red. I mean, you even do it. I go swimming every morning, and if somebody pulls up alongside me in a swimming pool, you can't help but race, can you? So if the car pulls up alongside you, I can't believe we just started talking about swimming there, but you know what I mean. The competitive spirit is competitive spirit, and we were talking about James Crossland in the BMW Compact. Car 33 has actually gone off at the top of Paddock Hill Bend again, just before the cars come into your view as they come through the Kentican. So he's in the gravel, he is ditched, and there probably could have been something poetic there about the name of the co-driver, Loic Ditchburn, couldn't there, with me using the word ditch there, but I missed that opportunity. So yeah, the BMW Compact won't go any further on this stage. We'll take a stage. Oh no, they'll probably remove it between stages, I would have thought. So, continuing with the class leaderboard, then it won't be James Crossland and Loic Ditchburn leading Class E, will it now? James Garner, Jordan Jones TR as well, and that X Works. On the Handley took the mileages off. I have to use my my note earlier. So if you are just tuning in, we're going to be live all day. We're going to be live for the rest of this stage. We're going to have a break for stage 2 and 3 as Vince Sillett makes his way past. Has some engine trouble after the first stage. We're going to be live for stages 6, 7 and 8 this afternoon. So don't go very far because the action is set to get better and better as we go through the day, as things warm up here, and then we'll go into the night. Spotlights bolted on. It was Kevin Jones and Lee Jones, actually, Andrew mentioned, that was hustling much faster cars on the stage, and actually just scanded it into the Scandinavian, flicked it around the hairpin in the pit lane, which, I mean, that is tight. It looks tight when you're walking through there, but coming at that speed and scandying it in is quite brave. Look at him. He's absolutely flying in that red Mark 1. I know it's not very good radio, this, but you have to believe the rally school section of the stage, as you can see, you've just seen Paul Sheard come through there in the MX-5, showing remarkably little damage, given that he did give the Rexel Bale a bit of a thump down here at the Graham Hill Bend before heading onto your screens there. That EDSL car there of Richard Weatherly, Sean Leyland has been going well as well. Came 7th in Class C, and we've seen the competitive Class C is here last year. And there is the Fiesta R5 of George Sherman and Neil Coleman, with its bonnet now firmly fastened back down. Caught a tyre stack, I think Neil said, in the rally school section of the stage, which flicked that bonnet up. And that Puma now out on the circuit, you're going to see that very soon coming into your view. The Puma kit car that we were talking about, it was an Imtech Cosworth powered car. It's now got a V6 Jaguar engine under the bonnet, and it's a formidable thing. The colours that Ryan championed, as I say that, I've just cursed him because you're not watching this on your screen. Paddock Hill Bend, where Martin Hodgson had his due, and where we see a stricken BMW Compact of James Cross. Next up, and gets back on the stage, and you'll see from that, hopefully, very shortly. Vince Sillett now looks like he's firing on all cylinders. That car looks like he's happy enough, I think, inside there now. You're not going to call it yet, though, are you? I mean, I'm going to have a look at the results again. We'll go through the classes at the end of this, because the action is so thick and fast that I get a few cars into the class and then I get distracted by something happening on the stage. Right, Michael Igoe, Will Atkins have now pulled out a further 2 seconds on Patrick O'Donovan and Jack Morton, and this was the fight that we were looking forward to in the last stage at Cadwell Park, and it didn't come to fruition because Michael Igoe had that double puncture last. Few points to add to the tally, but a really disappointing end for him, and then he came out with fire at round 3 at Donington Park and took victory, and here he's coming out with that same vigour. He's fighting from the front and pulling out a lead over the young rallycross star. John Griffiths, Emma Morrison still hanging on to the Hyundai up front though. 8 seconds behind in 3rd place, and a further 7 seconds behind the hard-charging Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley. They look quick out there, and they are quick. The leaderboard doesn't lie. Tony Robinson, Paul Spooner have dropped back to just 4 seconds behind.
Boot on the Scott Suchbury down Suchbury, so their Renault Clio 197 has just gone around the hairpin, and then I guess maybe they hope the marshals will pop some shopping in or a bit of refreshment for them later.
Nice bit of air braking though. You'd rather have your boot up than your bonnet up, although it'll be fairly unnerving. It'll feel ever so strange. Yeah, you can see you'll see it come into your view in just a moment. The white and green Renault Clio of Scott Stuchbury, who was having a good morning. Shouldn't slow him down too much, you've got to say. Yeah, much rather have that than having to feel your way around the bonnet up in front of you. So Thomas and Paul down a place. Ollie O'Donovan and Ashley Morris, we said they'd get quicker as a result of having a car to follow through that stage, and they were following John Griffiths and Emma Morrison. As a result, have pulled some time back. Stage time. They are now in 6th place, 8 seconds back from the Skoda of Robinson and Spooner. And then Richard Weaver and Dylan Thomas in the blue Fiesta R5 that has been going so sideways and seemingly so quickly this morning. Is just a second behind in 7th place. We've got a car train behind. Down, wasn't it? And oh, we've got a 3-way fight into Druids there, and the Puma comes out. Car not far behind on the road either. Oh. Car 37 locking its wheels up into that. It's Gary Mason, John Matthews. Didn't get a chance to chat to them as they came into the flying finish, because have them back in the championship. Locking up before they head through the link section past the Kentagon into the lower paddock. Maybe a bit of red mist having got stuck behind those 2 cars, having to thread their way through Druids and get themselves, basically they stuck their nose up the inside and made it very clear they were coming through, and now on it into the last section of the stage, into the rally school stage. Nicely done in that MG ZR from Elliot Sharp and Liam Carfrae, who weren't looking at the results this morning in stages 1 and 2. Were just feeling their way through the stages and enjoying themselves, but they very much are now looking at the results as they promised us, and really throwing that little MG around. As you'll see, I say there's the. I'm conscious that I'm watching from a different part of the stage as George Sheard gets it all crossed up on the hairpin in the pit lane. A bit too exuberant in the enough to bend and probably unsettle the rear spoiler as it flaps around, driving off into the what is normally the paddock area at the back of the pit garages, but is part of the stage here today at Brands Hatch. And then Vince Bristow in the Corbeau liveried Mark 1 Mexico saw that unfold and decided sensibly to keep his distance and then just follow that Puma pit car through the back of the pit garages. Scott Rayner view any moment in that GB Finch Mark II Escort, and you can see the Clio of Scott Stuchbury with its boot up, braking, going through the final section of this stage. Scott Rayner really flying in that Escort. Was pleasantly surprised to see his position on the leaderboard when he came through after that second stage. Big grin on his face, just as you'd expect from a Rayner. Pete Rayner has entertained us many a time in this neck of the woods over the years. Lovely family, and great to see them out rallying. And good to see him going so well. Didn't finish last year's Brands Hatch Winter stages though, Scott Rayner. his best result on a circuit championship round was at Snetterton 14 years ago. No, sorry, 12 years ago. My maths is not on par there, is it? 12 years ago. They came 7th overall, 3rd in class at Snetterton in the Mark II. George Sheard neatening things up for his second way around the hairpin here. Results through shortly, but to remind you, if you're just tuning in or if you've been to get a drink, the leaderboard looks like this. Michael Igoe, Will Atkins, who come here second in the championship, having taken 2 victories already this season. First to open the billing at Alton Park, second at Donington Park last time out, and now leading the rally by 19 seconds from Cadwell Park round 2 winner Patrick O'Donovan. Jack Morton alongside in the car that Hayden Padden took to victory on Rally Barbados last year. And we've got more dancing on ice antics in the pit lane. Mike Webb, Steve Noble this time in the Fiesta ST150. So John Griffiths, Emma Morrison, our reigning champions, coming here leading the championship, but not by much. It's a very slim margin, but showing that consistency is often key and has been many a time in the Circuit Rally Championship, having taken 2 second places to open the billing. Taking a last time, getting names at the top of that leaderboard just yet, but as we can see, not needing to either, because that so far has been enough. 3rd place today, will that be enough? I'm sure they will be asking for more. John was annoyed that he'd not taken the brave tyre choice, or what looked like the brave tyre choice, and turned out to be the right one that Michael Igoe took in stage 2, which allowed him to pull out that big margin. I say big margin. 17 seconds is nothing, and we've seen, because you've got to stop to change a puncture, that could all be gone very quickly. But a margin it is. Sean Quigley, Colin Quigley, just 7 behind our reigning champions, and a lovely bit of sideways in the pit lane. And Philip Chislett, Samantha Chislett, who came 9th in the hotly contested Class C on last year's event. We've got a lot of smoke coming from, I can't see, what is that, Stephen Johansson's Subaru coming round Druids, I think it might be. Dropping a fair bit of something, unless he's, oh no, actually, I think it's actually tyre smoke. I think he's clumped the rear of that Subaru. I might be wrong, because I am looking from it. It looks like the rear wheel is at a funny angle. The door's open on the driver's side, and he's pulling over after the chicane just at the top of Paddock Hill Bend. Oh, the door's open. I think they're actually just leaning out to have a quick look. Stephen's just having a look at where the smoke's coming from. It could just be that the car's catching some bodywork at the back, causing, because it looks like it's only on left-handers, where the car's leaning on the rear tyre. So it could just be a bit of bodywork that he's bent, causing the tyre to catch. Not sure. It'll come into your view any moment. Let's just see if he comes past the camera, or if indeed he's pulled over, because the door was open and it did look like he was trying to hang out to have a look at what was going on there. Lots of smoke coming out of the back of that Subaru, and that's frustrating if so. We're not seeing that Subaru coming through, are we? Because it's been a bit of a rough start. No, I think we've lost Stephen Johansson, although I can't quite, it must have just stopped on that link bit between. Oh, there we go, look, smoke coming out of that. Yeah, it wasn't bodywork catching, was it? That's definitely an engine problem. You can just see on, thank you to Phil Bramwell, just managing to grab that picture. You can see the Subaru smoking, parked next to the Paddock Hill grandstand. Mason's been for a wander around the service area. Oh, while we're talking about all of that, we've got a car off at Graham Hill Bend again. Yeah, there's you always check the spectator car parks at these events. There is a short wheelbase Audi Quattro parked down on the grass, just like we had at Donington Park. I wonder if it's the same one, that former Dialinks car that I put on social media, which really captured all your imaginations, just like mine. Yeah, I think it's a different reg though, so it might be another one, might be wrong. Something about these events that, because they're so accessible, because you're not parking miles from the stage in a forest having to walk along public roads, people are bringing interesting cars to the spectator car park. There's a beautiful Lancia Fulvia parked down below the Brabham Suites, which belongs to one of the scrutineers. Andrew's got a story about that.
No, it does. That belongs to Howard, who's the chief scrutineer. And his observation, very modestly, was that he thought it was the most photographed car in the service area this morning, with all these, the huge variety of rally cars and the top-end cars. But of course, it's something very different, and he's very proud of that car. I know, but he said it in a very modest way. But I think he was secretly delighted that it was attracting so much attention, and absolutely right so. It does look gorgeous.
If you are at Brands Hatch, if you wander around the back of the Brabham building where the hospitality buildings are, it's just parked down there, and it has got the Chief Scrutineer sticker on. But I must admit, I was one of the people taking photos of it this morning. I can't see a car like that and not take photos from every angle, all the angles from that Lancia Fulvia this morning. But yeah, plenty of variety on our off the stages here at Brands Hatch, but we've got a bit of drama out there as well, but not the kind of drama that we like to see. We do like to see rallies being won on the stage, not on the side of the stage, won and lost. But Stephen Johansson, who really needed a result here today, with such a rough start to the season, things not quite going his way. One of our other racing drivers out here competing in the Circuit Rally Championship will be going no further today with that. So coming into this, James Crossland definitely weren't leading Class C. I'm not sure what's going on with the results there, but they're definitely not now because they're stuck in the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend. But James Garner, Jordan Joynes were leading the way in Class C coming into this stage. Or I'm looking at stage, sorry, bear with me while I work my way through the... Here we go. Right, so the Mitsubishi Evo 3 that, as Andrew mentioned, now has championship points at stake of Wayne Larbalestier. He's in first place in Class B. Sam Gendy, Sam Bartlett in the Evo 9. Stephen Johansson, Chris Cooper, we've seen them pull over, but they came into this third place in the Impreza. That would have been an important haul of points, and no doubt they'll be hoping that smoke is something simple, perhaps like a coolant pipe that's come off the back of the block or something daft like that they can get fixed in service. Anything too onerous. Mini Cooper just twitching around Graham Hill Bend. That's still slippery through there and still, I think, a little bit deceptive for our crews. You're looking at the paddock part of the stage where the cars come up past the Kentigan and down into the lower paddock. And you're also looking at the Brands Hatch Rally School, where, by the way, you can book a rally experience in Toyota GT86s. A fantastic experience it is as well. Having worked for MSV, I know they put an awful lot of emphasis on making those experiences real and raw, and you will come away with the biggest grin on your face. If you head to the Brands Hatch website, you can book on for that and drive some of the stage that you've seen in action today. Robert Watson, Emma Cooper in the Mini Cooper S are going well out there today. And Stuart Gilks driving Dan Taylor's junior rally car, with Dan Taylor co-driving alongside as the Christmas Mini goes, Duncan Christmas, it goes very sideways, going through Graham Hill Bend as well. Yeah, Stuart Gilks and Dan Taylor, it's an interesting one because Dan's sat in his junior car watching Stuart drive and having to navigate for the first time co-driving actually. And he said he was enjoying himself. He looked very nervous to me, I've got to be honest. Ian Broadfoot, David Rowley looked like they were having a fair old day in their Escort RS 2000. It's a smart looking car. And that little Citroen VTR of Philip Smith and Robert Smith that had brake problems through the second stage, probably just because he cooked the brakes, given that they are on a standard, well, the car's pretty much standard. Looks like it's going well and back fighting fit because they were using the brakes. Okay, at the top of Paddock Hill Bend there. Thomas Alderton, Paul Alderton in the MGZR. In fact, it was Thomas, wasn't it, who said that he wasn't watching the results at that stage. Morgan Sparrow, Martin Corbett in the MX-5. Class 70 with their radio intact inside the car and the volume control still on that standard steering wheel. It's interesting. You don't see many modern steering wheels in rally cars simply because they've got airbags these days and they tend to come out first. But the airbag, at least the airbag cover, the airbag will have to have been disconnected for regs, of course, but the airbag cover at least is still on, so it looks very standard in there. And he gleefully switched the radio on for me, Andrew, and turned the tunes up. And they had the tunes ready. I reckon they've got them on inside the car.
Oh, that's good. Well, maybe it's maybe depending on the conditions. Martin Corbett alongside in the car as another one of the Exposure Automoto team who support the rally and support the championship and indeed have their awards over the first half dozen rounds that head into darkness with a special award running through the classes as the events go through for the fastest person in the class nominated for that rally who wins one of their straight 8 lamp pods.
Fantastic. And lamp pod is the crucial word. None of these laser lights, please. Let's have lamp pods on these rally cars. Alex, well, no, the laser lights do a better job, don't they? Ultimately, they're lighter and more effective, but there's just something 90s that creeps in when I think of rally cars in the dark, and it's all about bumper pods. And Alex Steele and Paul Godden, you can see them in a minute come into your view in their Fiesta ST150. A bit of smoke coming off. I think it's tyre smoke. That one does look like it's catching a rear tyre. Part kind of Michelin Pilot Escort bumper pod. That's what we've got going on. And another car that I wanted to mention is that VW Golf Mark II of Dominic Norman and Vlad Arnolini, because we spoke to them at the end of stage 2, and in the first stage of the day they went so sideways through Graham Hill Bend that the car almost ended up on the grass, but they were fully perpendicular to the road at every angle, and it looked like they meant to do it. It looked like they were enjoying themselves. In fact, they were just absolutely terrified. And as a result, have reined it in ever since, and they were keen to point that out because that was not in the plan, and they were just relieved to gather it up and continue along their way, because I think they thought they were headed towards some stage furniture pretty quickly in that Mark II Golf GTI earlier, and that's not how you want to end your day. Xavier Brooks having a better run through so far in the MX-5, having had that puncture, very frustrated to have had that puncture early on in the opening stage, meaning that he has to put Graham Hill Bend towards Druids.
I've got a thought for you about the hairpin, Paul. You said it was very tight, didn't you?
Yes, very tight.
Well, Duncan and Laura Christmas just went through. That matters of room. So the hairpin's fine. What's happened is the cars have grown so much bigger. That's my alternative theory for you. What do you think?
I'm going with that. I think you're correct. I don't think the Mini was ever a big car, though, was it? Even back in its day, comparatively speaking. So the Christmas...
That's why it has so much room.
There you go. The Christmas Mini has proved... it's worth its weight in gold when you get to a tight hairpin. In fact, this Brands Hatch stage, when you think of Brands Hatch as a rally stage, I think of it as fast and flying. I even said that on the lead up to this event, but actually there's so many tight sections that Chelmsford Motor Club put into this that it really does become quite a challenge for our crews, and certainly was this morning when it was slippery. Got to say, the driving standards on display in the hairpin so far today have been phenomenal. Normally you've got a few 3-point turns, which you can forgive because, you know, these drivers, a lot of these club drivers, they do this, they don't get in the car in between events. I mean, you can't do it in McDonald's car park anymore. So, you know, in fact, just proving me wrong there, the Mark II Golf just went through without using the handbrake and managed to get round. But yeah, some good driving and some entertaining driving on display, and I'm loving that section coming down. You just see Alex Steele there. You just saw him lock up coming down onto the lower paddock, and again, you see all the cones, and it's like a red rag to a bull because you're going downhill, and you just think, right, I'm having this because if I get it wrong, it's okay. But it's not okay because you suddenly arrive at the scene of an accident very quickly if you're not careful in those scenarios. So you saw Alex Steele locking up and managing to look like he meant to flick the Fiesta from one side to the other, and then sort of Scandinavian flick it round the cones into the bottom part of the paddock past that chicane that you see in Xavier Brook coming through now.
Quite like these kind of stages because I remember him in a Lotus Elise doing auto solos. So those sort of very precise manoeuvres around cones have probably been tried and tested over time, and now he's putting them to good use on the stages with the faster bits in between.
Yeah, auto solos is an event that is quite prevalent down here. They do a lot of those kinds of events on the lower paddock down here, don't they? And they do auto tests and things as well. Do you guys run that at Chelmsford? Is it Chelmsford that run that?
No, I think that tends to be more Sevenoaks do those. So yes, there've been auto solos in the paddock and actually even using the rally school stage. And then summer grass auto test up on the field, which is really pleased that a couple of the race secretaries from MSV said when I met them at a training event that they've also taken part in that. So you go to work and then you finish the day at work with the grass auto test. It's got to be good.
When I worked here, I remember talking to Jonathan Palmer about whether or not we could bring rallycross back to the venues. And it was, to begin with, it was absolutely not. And then next time I saw him, I had a meeting with him at Cadwell. I had the YouTube clip of him in the Escort lined up, just to give him what was it, an Escort he was in? I think it wasn't it? Zach Speed X Escort on that, when he did the rallycross here, and he broke down actually, but he was second place and then leading the event. And he quite enjoyed watching that, and I did think we were getting somewhere, and then that died a death, unfortunately. But it'd be nice to bring rallycross back, I think, to these venues. Although the grass wouldn't probably agree, and we know how Jonathan feels about his grass. And I've got to say, the venue is looking superb, given that we've come through the winter, and it's been a pretty rough winter for anyone who's been looking after grass. I know how hard they work at these venues to keep them looking like this. So as we see that Mark II Golf, Dominic Norman, Vlad Arnolinu coming through the final stage. We finish stage 3 of the Brands Hatch winter stages with Michael Igoe in the lead, and a convincing one at that, 19 seconds from Patrick O'Donovan and Jack Morton in the Hyundai in second place. John Griffiths, Emma Morrison continuing their championship defence in third. You can get all of the results and the leaderboards at rallies.info, and we will be back with you for stages 6, 7 and 8 mid-afternoon here at Brands Hatch as the MGJ Engineering Circuit Rally Championship is back in action, and the title fight continues here in the Winter Rally Series on Special Stage. We'll be live soon.